You are watching Baylor baseball here on the Baylor Lariat Radio as the Bears take on the Kansas Jayhawks in Game 2 of this weekend matchup. Here on this overcast day, we had some rain earlier, and now we're here ready to play some ball, and I hope y'all are doing well. I'm Jeff Cohen here alongside Joe Pratt. Bears coming off a big win last night, defeating Jayhawks 14-5. And, I mean, the Bears just really put it together. It was an all-around great win. Bears, a couple of big innings, but what you really saw from that offense was, you know, they got guys on base and they were just able to keep them going, right? And a couple of key errors from the Jayhawks kind of helped get those big innings going. And Bears, they struck for 6 in the second inning, struck for 3 in the fourth, and then 2 in the sixth. And overall, it's a really good game.
Yeah, it was. Mason Marriott was on the mound last night. He started things off, went 5 1/3 really strong innings from him. Plenty of strikeouts, gave up 1 earned run, 3 total. And so Kansas, they took advantage of a couple of Baylor errors too, but it was early on in the game. The Bears got the bats going off of a fielding mistake in the first inning. They got the first runs of the game, and then they had an inning off there in the third inning, but that was not before they put up 6 in the bottom of the second. So a 7-0 lead through the first 3 innings of that ball game last night, and they were cruising after that. They went up against Reese Dutton, one of the best pitchers in this conference, and they made him look like as if he wasn't the number 2 man in the Big 12 in ERA at 2.52. After the game, he ended with a 3.05 after 2 innings of work. He allowed 4 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. So the Bears, as you mentioned, they weren't trying to do too much. It wasn't the long ball or too many extra base hits that did it for him last night. It was really the small ball, the sacrifice bunting, the stolen bases, and the smart base running, and of course taking advantage of those errors like you said. And yeah, you mentioned earlier a lot of rain in the forecast. We weren't sure if we were going to play this game. We were pretty certain this game wasn't going to happen when we got here at around 30 minutes before the original first pitch time that was supposed to happen at 11:30. That obviously got pushed back, and so now we're going to have a first pitch scheduled in 1 minute, but likely not going to get that. But it's going to be a few minutes away, Jeffrey.
Yeah, you know Coach Thompson, kind of that old school kind of guy, like you were saying earlier today. Doesn't matter, rain, shine, snow, sleet, whatever. He wants to play baseball, and we're going to have a ball game today. And, yeah, last night's win, that's just kind of a continuation of what the Bears have been doing these last, 3 weeks. With the win last night, that's their 5th in a row. They've won 10 of their last 11 games. Now they improved to 9-7 on conference play. They're tied for 4th in the Big 12 with Texas. Who would have thought, right? Some of our earlier broadcasts, we saw some pretty glaring issues, right? And I think they've really fixed it, and they've done extremely well as we've gone through the season. The bullpen has really held their weight as the season's gone on. Starters, again, have been really good, really solid. And then this lineup, I think, has been the key point for this team in the last couple weeks. If you look to the game last night, every single guy on this Baylor lineup, they either scored or they driven in an RBI or both. So everybody's getting involved. Only 2 guys in last night's lineup for the Bears didn't get a hit, but they got on base in other ways. And Bears hoping to continue. We got, like you said, a really good matchup. Colin McKinney pitching for the Bears. Last time out, he went 3 innings pitched versus BYU in that sweep. Gave up only 2 hits, had 4 earned runs. Did have 5 walks and 6 strikeouts. Now, before that, his last 2 appearances, he went a total of 11 1/3 innings pitched against Cincinnati and Incarnate Word.
Now grabbing scorecards. Let's see our starting lineup.
That game against Cincinnati, he had a season-high 6.1 innings pitched and then 5 innings pitched against the Cardinals.
The center fielder, number 29, John Ness.
He's just been really solid, really good, and Bears are hoping to keep the momentum moving. And expect a lot.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, we saw him a few weeks ago at the Baylor Ballpark pitch during a rain delay, so maybe it's just Colin McKinney bringing this bad weather. No, of course it's not. It's because, the weather that has rolled in here this weekend, we knew that it likely wasn't going to be able to hold off throughout the entirety of the day Saturday, but it's interesting that the game was originally scheduled for 2 p.m. today. They moved it to 11:30 a.m. to maybe get a head start ahead of the rain that was expected to come later, but of course it rains all morning. And I mean, you know better than I do, being a Texas native, how unpredictable the weather can be here, especially in central Texas, and so we're seeing more of that this weekend. But more on Colin McKinney, as you mentioned, a bit of a step back his last time out at BYU. Luckily, he was able to get some help from the bats in that 18-17 win. And so it was him who gave up 4 earned runs. Of course, the bullpen wasn't great that day either. They went on to give up an additional plethora of runs after that. Of course, it was an 18-17 finish. Before that, he had allowed an earned run, 2 runs total against Incarnate Word. He looked really good in that game as well. That was one where he was cruising through those first 4 innings and then ran into some trouble in the 5th, and that was the last inning that he pitched in. Eventually gave up some runs after that. But he got 10 strikeouts to 2 walks that day. He's looking for a lot more of that today. Like I said, maybe a bit of a step back at BYU, but we've seen what he can do, and we know that he has the caliber to be a pitcher that's among the top in the Big 12 in terms of starters, I think, because he's a guy who is very efficient up there, a guy who doesn't give up a lot of base hits, and opponents are hitting at a 200 clip against him. That's the 4th best in the Big 12, too, so he's been able to hit his spots really well, and he looks really confident up there, especially returning from injury and missing the entirety of last season.
Yeah, and with how well the offense has been playing these last couple of weeks, you're not coming into the start with as much pressure on you, I guess, to perform. Obviously, you have, the expectation to perform and to do well with how he's done this season and to be the Saturday starter. But now a little bit of that pressure is kind of lifted off your shoulders because now, if the offense is played like they have, you're going to have some run support, so, you got some room, You give up a run or two, and it won't hurt too much, just like what Mason Marriott had last night. So not too much pressure, and hopefully that'll be just what Colin McKinney needs to get back on track after that BYU start.
Yeah, for sure, and he's going to be playing in front of a defense that needs to perform well, too. This is a Kansas team, and I guess teams on both sides that are not necessarily teams in the Big 12 that you look at and say that's a really solid fielding team. These are teams that will make mistakes in the field, and we saw a lot of that last night. So I think it could come down to that today. This is a Kansas offense that you're not going to be able to keep off the board for an entire 9 innings of a ball game. Said that last night. Saying it again today because we saw it last night. 5 shutout innings, and then into the 6th they were able to get some runs and wound up getting 5 on the evening. And so Baylor, you can't expect them to get 14 runs in every single night as well. So I think you're going to rely on Colin McKinney to go out there and pitch a good start. You want him to hopefully go 4 or 5 strong innings. And obviously Kansas will be looking to do the same with Dominic Vagley on the mound, a guy who was 3rd in the conference in ERA entering this series, is now 2nd because his teammate and Friday night starter got lit up, as we mentioned, last night. And so he's going to be looking to right the ship today for Kansas, show that this is a pitching staff that is among the top in the Big 12, and it really is. Last night definitely a step back for them, but it's a Baylor offense that's going to need to be aggressive and get on him early. Because one thing I liked, Jeffrey, last night, it didn't seem like they were sitting back too much. They were swinging away, fouling off pitches. I think every guy that stepped up to the plate swung the bat at least twice. And so that's just really good to see when your guys are up there. They're aggressive, they're confident, and they have great team chemistry right now, and you're really seeing that on the field. And as you mentioned, 10 wins of the last 11, an 18-18 record, a chance to be at 19-18 above 500 for the first time since winning opening day last season against Central Michigan. So that would be huge. A win today, a series win, a lot on the line.
Yeah, this is a program that we said throughout the season, it's been in a rebuild, but honestly, in my opinion, I've been very impressed with how they've played and how much they've improved. They've had injuries throughout this year, right? I think we say it almost every broadcast over here. Hunter Simmons back in February against Indiana had that really bad right leg injury when he ran into the wall, and then you had a Jack Little transfer from out of Wichita State. He was expected to be a starting infielder, and he's not going to make his way onto the field this season. So now, you know, you got a couple of freshmen kind of sprinkled throughout, a couple of transfers, and everyone's really shown up. And yeah, this would be very big for Mitch Thompson's program to kind of get back to where, you know, they want to be. And that's with a winning record. And it looks like teams are lining up, getting ready for the singing of our national anthem. We'll be back with the lineups and the defensive positions after the national anthem.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
We are back with Baylor baseball here on the Baylor Lariat Radio. As we get ready for first pitch, I'll send it over to Joe for our starting lineup.
For the Bears, looking a lot similar to what we had in yesterday's game, but let's take a look at how Kansas lines up to face Colin McKinney, the right-handed thrower, today. They'll lead off with John Nett in the leadoff spot, just like yesterday, playing in center field, followed by Cody Shojinaga, who plays second and bats second. Jake English bats third, hit his 11th home run of the night last night. He's doing the catching and batting third. In the cleanup spot, playing the hot corner, Michael Brooks. Ben Hartle bats after him at fifth, and he plays first base. Lenny Ashby, the designated hitter, bats sixth. Collier Cranford at short bats seventh. Ty Wisdom in right field bats eighth. And Mike Kazuski rounds things out at 9, and he plays in left field.
And as I said, on the bump for the Bears, Colin McKinney, that typical Saturday starter, right now sitting at a .550 ERA, 3-3 record. The Bears defensively, behind the plate, Cortland Castle at first base, Cole Posey, Daniel Altman at second, Tyreek Kemp at short, and then Hunter Toplansky at third. And then rounding out the outfield from left field to right field is Wesley Jordan, and then Ty Johnson in center. And then finishing it off is Enzo Apodaca in right, overlooking the Brazos River.
Well, I think what's going to be key today for Colin McKinney is just throwing strikes, and particularly throwing that first pitch strike. For him, it's been really important to get ahead of these batters, because then he can work with kind of what he wants. He can sequence his pitches really nicely with that slider and the off-speed pitches. And so for him, he's just going to have to get ahead of batters early, not going to want to walk as many guys as he did last time out, which was 5 at BYU. He's definitely going to want to be hitting the zone a bit more today against this Kansas team that will really make you pay when you put them on base. And this is a Kansas team that entering this weekend had the fewest amount of strikeouts in the Big 12 too. So they're not guys that are going to go down hacking. You're going to have to trust your defense and trust your pitches if you're calling McKinney and the Bears today.
Behind the plate, number 19, Cortland Castle. On the mound, number 35.
Now we're getting ready for first pitch. Leading off, as Joe had mentioned, is center fielder John Nett. And the first pitch from McKinney. Swung on and ripped into right field corner. Now drop. And it'll roll its way to the wall. Nett making his way to second, and he will stop there for a leadoff double. Start this game, starting off hot for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, first pitch swinging, John Nett, not wasting any time getting the first extra base hit of the game for Kansas. It took them a few innings last night just to get their first hit, and today, just one pitch.
Yeah, Jayhawks really not hoping for a recreation of last night, hoping to kind of turn the tide to the series. Now up to bat, second baseman Cody Shojinaga, as he'll look at the first pitch from McKinney for a ball. Shojinaga went 0 for 4 last night, did get a walk and scored twice. And the pitch. That'll be in there, breaking ball down the middle for strike one. Bears wearing their white pinstripe home jerseys, and Kansas wearing their blue aways. Check swing on a pitch, high, and appeals to the first base umpire, but he'll say no. Jayhawks wearing their gray pants along with blue jerseys and that chrome blue helmet. And the 2-1 pitch. That fastball just outside. Count goes to 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch. That one's low for ball 4, and Shojinaga will get to first after facing 5 pitches.
The catcher, number 21, Jake English.
2 early base runners for the Jayhawks. Now runners on first and second for the catcher, Jake English. And the 0-0 pitch. Swung on and missed behind that on that 94-mile-an-hour fastball right there. McKinney showing off some of the heat. Jake English last night went 2 for 5 with a run and an RBI. And the 0-1 pitch, that one's upstairs for ball 1. Kansas' last series against Pacific, he played all 3 games, went 4 for 12. He had 3 runs, 6 RBIs. And that'll get in there for strike 2. Counts 1-2. And that hit from John Nett earlier, that extends his hitting streak now to 13 games. Started back in March 28th against BYU. And the pitch. Just at the knees, a breaking ball locks him up. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Jake English goes down looking.
It will add that strikeout to the K counter.
That's great sequencing there. Not scared of Jake English, a guy who has 11 bombs on the season. Went right at him, attacked inside, middle inside on the zone, and then went low and outside on the off speed to get him swinging for strike 3. Really nice job by Colin McKinney, especially with those first 2 men on in the inning.
And now up to bat, Michael Brooks. As he'll look at that 85-mile-an-hour breaking ball on the low and outside edge for strike 1. Wind kind of going on and off today. Flag kind of pointing to that left field corner. This one's fouled right over our heads. Michael Brooks going 1 for 5. Corley Castle will take some time to give a signal to his pitcher and the infield. Counts 0-2 to Michael Brooks. 1 out, runners on first and second. And McKinney kicks and deals. Swung on, now will be fouled back to the netting. The redshirt junior went 5 for 11 in that series against Pacific. Another one of the major contributors. That was a big series for the Jayhawks. Scoring double digits, winning by double digits in all 3 games. And the 0-2 pitch, just outside. Some of the Baylor fans disagree with that call. Michael Brooks, in that big series, had 9 RBIs, 6 runs, 3 home runs. And that counts for half of his 6 on the year. This will be a chopper to third baseman Toplansky. Make the throw to second. And the throw to first, not in time. They will get the second out at second. And now there will be runners on the corners.
First baseman number 25.
For the Jayhawks with 2 outs.
Saw a lot of that last night. Kansas batters rolling over on pitches. Seems like they were ahead of these off speeds from Mason Marriott and now Colin McKinney. And so that one's just rolled towards Toplansky at first. He has to wait for it on a few hops, and so that likely makes it a much more difficult play for Altman to relay to first. And it looked like Posey was taken off the bag, but it's still a nice job by him to hold on.
And now to the first baseman, Ben Hartle, as he'll look at that first pitch upstairs for ball 1. Hartle went 1 for 3, did get 2 walks, so reached base 3 times with a run and an RBI. That'll be outside for ball 2. And the 2-0 pitch from McKinney. Breaking ball really slow and just makes its way into the zone now. 77 miles an hour. So far through 2/3 of an inning, we've seen a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. We just saw a 77-mile-an-hour curveball. McKinney switching up the speeds. That ball upstairs, check swing. They'll appeal the first base umpire, and he'll say no swing. Count goes to 3-1. Pitch. That one's upstairs, and it'll be ball 4. Ball gets away from Corlin Castle, and a run will score on the wild ball 4.
The DH, number 52, Lenny Ashby.
And right now, Colin McKinney not really controlling the ball very well. Has 10 balls to his 10 strikes. Right there. Costly wild pitch. That'll score the first run of this game. And now to bat Lenny Ashby. Swung on and missed. Wanted to get that first pitch, but it'll be too early on the 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
This is not a guy you want to have up at the plate with 2 men on. He's not a guy who strikes out a lot. 22 walks on the season, just 19 Ks for Ashby. He's going to make a pitcher work when he's in the box.
And the 1-0 pitch, that'll be outside. The walk to Ben Hartle. That'll extend his on-base streak to 7 games now. There's a couple of guys with some hitting streaks or on-base streaks that have kind of been culminating throughout the season leading up to this game, as that'll be a foul tip for a strike. Counts 1-2 to Lenny Ashby. And the 1-2 pitch. We'll look upstairs. Lenny Ashby, the senior out of Aruba, transfer from New Mexico. He'll face this pitch, swung and a hit deep into right field. Apodaca tracks on and he'll make the catch onto the warning track. And that'll be out number 3. Jayhawks strike for 1 on the wild pitch with ball 4 to Ben Hartle. And now the Bears will be up to bat at the start of the first. And we'll be back.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
And we are back with the top of the first here at Baylor Ballpark. Colin McKinney giving up the first run of this game, and I'll hand it over to Joe for the Baylor lineup.
Yeah, let's take a look at how Mitch Thompson's Bears line up today against Dominic Vagley, a really strong pitcher in this Kansas rotation, getting his 10th start of the season here on Saturday. But let's see how the Bears line up against him. Enzo Apodaca at the leadoff spot. He plays in right field, same spot and same exact lineup actually as yesterday for the Bears. Ty Johnson bats second, plays center field. Wesley Jordan, the left fielder, bats third. Daniel Altman in the cleanup spot again, playing at second base. Hunter Toplansky plays at third and bats fifth. Zach Mazak is the DH again. He bats sixth. And 7, 8, and 9 is Cole Posey, Tyreek Kemp, and Cortland Castle. So much similar look to yesterday, Jeffrey. Of course, why not? I mean, they scored 14 runs, so might as well keep it going into Saturday.
Yeah, why fix what's not broken? And obviously, this lineup is not broken right now. Put up 14 runs last night.
It's amazing. They only got 3 in their midweek game at UT Arlington. Of course, I know maybe some wind and some weather was a factor up there, but still, to come after the weekend at BYU where they got that sweep against the Cougars, come back to the Baylor Ballpark, get 14 runs in front of your home crowd, these bats are swinging it.
Now leading off for the Bears, Enzo Apodaca, as he'll look at that one low for ball 1. The reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. That was announced back on Monday after that sweep of BYU. Had a big series against BYU, 9 for 15, 6 runs, 4 RBIs, a home run. That included 5 for 5 game against BYU. That one will get in for strike 1. Counts tied up 1-1. No outs, nobody on. And the pitch. That one's low in the dirt. Almost hits Apodaca's feet. And the 2-1 pitch. Swung and ripped into right field, but right to the right fielder. Ty Wisdom will make the catch on that ripper for out number 1.
Yeah, line shot from Apodaca, pretty similar to what he had in last night's game to lead things off. A line drive into the right center field gap. This time he's a bit too far ahead of it. And just in the perfect spot, as you said, was Ty Wisdom, right in medium depth right field.
And now following Enzo Apodaca, center fielder Ty Johnson, hitting .321 on the year. And the first pitch to Johnson will be a fastball, low and outside, but we'll just get the edge for strike 1. Bigley hit 91 on that pitch. Breaking ball just outside for ball one. Yeah, last night you could see some of the Baylor players kind of stepping up into that batter's box. The Kansas pitching, not too much heat. As Ty Johnson fouls this one back. Yeah, for most of the game, though, a lot of their pitchers just didn't really get past 90 miles an hour. Used a lot of off-speed pitches. The Bears really capitalized that they were sitting on them. And the 1-2 pitch to Johnson. And that one's fouled off. And it'll land into the metal grandstands in foul territory in left field. Ty Johnson last night, he did go 1 for 4. Had 2 runs and 2 RBIs and a walk. And the 1-2 pitch. That one will be a breaking ball that hits the plate for ball 2. And that will be upstairs for ball 3. Count runs full after Ty Johnson was down early in the count, 1-2. Still only 1 out, nobody on. The full count pitch. Chopper to the second baseman, Cody Shojinaga, and he'll make the throw to first in time for out number 2.
You know, and that's a lot of what Bigley has done so far this season. I mean, a 2.49 ERA. He's allowed at least 1 run in each of his first 9 starts this season, but he's never allowed more than 3 earned runs. And so he's been able to work himself out of jams in a really good way.
And now Wesley Jordan, left fielder, as he'll hit this one high into shallow right center. Second baseman Cody Shojinaga will make the out, and that'll do it for the inning. Bears go down 1-2-3 as they trail the Kansas Jayhawks 1-0, and we'll head to the top of the second here on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
You're listening to Baylor Baseball here on the Baylor Lariat Radio as the Bears go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. But as they trail the Kansas Jayhawks 1-0 after a wild pitch from Colin McKinney, scores John Nett, who had a leadoff double, but now Colin McKinney will see the 7, 8, 9 hitters for this Jayhawk lineup, hoping to regain some momentum after a 25-pitch first inning. Face the shortstop Collier Cranford. Cranford looks at that first pitch just below the knees for ball 1. Cranford last night went 1 for 3, had 2 RBIs and a walk. And the 1-0 pitch. That one's hit high into shallow right field. Second baseman Daniel Altman will make his way under the ball and make the catch for a quick out, number 1.
Yeah, they needed that too.
Right fielder,
After last inning, first pitch double by John Nett. They put the leadoff man on just once or 3 times in last night's game, but one time it was on a hit. The other 2 times was on an error. So you don't want to be doing that today if you're the Baylor infielders and outfielders.
Now up to bat, right fielder Ty Wisdom. As he'll look at that first pitch, a fastball in the zone for strike 1. Wisdom went 1 for 2 last night. Would get pinch hit for by Chase Jams. And the 0-1 pitch will be low and inside for ball 1, almost hitting Wisdom in the feet. Wisdom, only a freshman out of Kansas City, Missouri. So look at that one for ball 2. Counts 2-1, 1 out, nobody on. Infield pretty far back, especially on the right side against the lefty hitter. As McKinney kicks and deals. Allen's a breaking ball. That's pretty far up and outside for ball 3. McKinney still seeming to struggle with that control. As this one will be swung on and missed by Ty Wisdom. Count runs full. So with that strike, again, only 16 strikes, 16 balls on his 32 pitches thus far. And the full count pitch. Gets him at the knees. And Ty Wisdom goes down looking. Colin McKinney's second backwards K of the day. That's a good sign. You know, he's got the stuff. He just needs to have that command, and you could see it.
Yeah, we talked about, before the game, you don't want him to be over on the walks to strikeouts ratio. Now he's back to 2 for 2 on that.
And the first pitch to Mike Kazuski will be a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Kazuski went 1 for 3 last night. Eventually get pinch hit for by Luke Leto. As the 0-1 pitch shows bunt, but pulls it back in time. And it'll be low for ball 1. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Kind of locks him up. And it'll be a strike 2. Kazuski looked like he almost wanted to swing right there, but didn't quite go all the way. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and ripped into right field, and it'll drop. And it'll be a 2-out single for Mike Kazuski.
Center fielder, number 29, John.
Not exactly what you want if you're Colin McKinney, who kind of found his groove, got 2 pretty quick outs, but now you're going to go back to the top of the lineup.
Yeah, he's going to want to try to keep that pitch count low. It's something that he's kind of struggled with these past few times out. That's why he hasn't eclipsed that 3-inning mark, but that 37 right now.
As the first pitch to John Nett will be breaking ball below the knees for ball 1. John Nett back last inning, led off the game with a double. Will come around to score on the wild pitch. As that one is low and hits the plate. Good block by Cortland Castle. Looks over to first, but won't make any throw. Hunter Japlansky playing pretty far back. Probably a couple feet in front of that outfield grass, and then only about 4 feet away from that third base line. As Nett will look at that one, that's upstairs for ball 3. Count goes to 3-0. With 2 outs, and then Mike Kazuski on first. And 3-0 pitch is in there. Throw over to first, not in time. As Kazuski will get back in sliding. Can he get the hold me over fastball? Counter goes to 3-1. And a pitch from McKinney. Swung on now. It's fouled back over the press box. McKinney working his way back into this count.
Yeah, I mentioned in the pregame show that he's got to get ahead of these batters. That's going to be key in keeping that pitch count low. But, you know, if you fall behind, you got to be able to work your way back, and he's done that right here.
And he'll go over to first. Throw won't be in time. Cole Posey lightly applies the tag. Cole Posey, the only infielder that's not very far back. He's at first base right now. This one will be popped up. Kazuski tried to steal second, but that will go out of play onto the netting. Kazuski will slowly make his way back to first base. Makes sense to have Kazuski stealing. It's a full count with 2 outs, so either way, either the ball's put in play or it'll be a walk or the end of the inning. So expect see Kazuski making his way over to second base again. McKinney kicks and deals. That one's upstairs for ball 4. John Nett back on base for the second time today.
Yeah, now James Leverton will make his way out to the mound, just talking things over with Colin McKinney, who's thrown 44 pitches, 21 for balls, 23 for strikes. So not ideal right now if you're Colin McKinney. You don't want to be putting too many guys on base, especially with 2 outs in the inning. Just got to throw strikes, trust your defense. But, of course, when you have a guy like Mike Kazuski who's kind of bookending the bottom of that lineup for Kansas, he's able to get the hit, and then you have to face this really strong top half of the order in Kansas. I mean, look at this top 3, Jeffrey. 364 average, 342 with Shojanaga, and 345 with Jake English, who's on deck. And those are guys last night who were held to just 3 hits combined, one of them being a home run, of course.
The second baseman, number 8.
But like we said earlier, it's not a team that you're going to be able to shut down for an entire weekend, an entire ball game, and you're seeing it right here.
Yeah, Lenny Ashby, the only hitter in this lineup for Kansas that's hitting below 300. So an all-around incredible lineup. Would have been a big out to get for Colin McKinney. Only would have ended the inning with only 44 pitches. This one will be fouled to the netting.
Geez, that's one where it looks like it could be a home run to deep left or a foul ball straight back here. This is a straight line right into the net. You would have had a play on it.
Yep. Use my intramural softball skills right there. And the 0-1 pitch from McKinney. Allen's a fastball inside. Gets Shojanaga to lift up his arms, trying to evade that pitch. Shojanaga got on base last inning with a walk. And the 1-1 pitch from McKinney. Another one that's up and inside. Shojanaga would be out at second on that 5-4 fielder's choice. And the pitch. Another one up it inside. That gets Shojanaga to jump out of the way. And the count goes 3-1, 2 outs. Kenny, 1 ball away from loading the bases with 2 outs. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Foul tip, actually. And it'll be another full count with 2 outs. McKinney hoping to finish the job this time. And the pitch. Swung on. That one's popped up. And I'll go and hit the metal canopy down the first base side.
Yeah, now here another 3-2 count for Colin McKinney. Just got to make sure you hit the box here. Don't want to load the bases with 3 consecutive base runners.
And the payoff pitch. That one's upstairs for ball 4, and the bases will be loaded for the catcher, Jake English.
Well, you're getting kind of some flashbacks from last night's game in the top of the ninth inning where the Bears had to make 2 pitching changes and their guys really couldn't throw strikes. Or it was 1 pitching change, but a new pitcher in to start the ninth. It was Steven Sepulveda. They had to go to Gabe Craig after he got 2 outs, and they faced 4 batters with 2 strike counts late in that game, and they weren't able to get any of them.
And now McKinney, his first pitch to English. Check swing, does not go. That will be just low. Will be ball 1. Jake English in the first inning struck out looking. As the 1-0 pitch will be in at the belt for strike 1. For Colin McKinney, you really want to get ahead of this count. This pitch is very big. You want to get ahead 1-2 and take control of this at bat. Kicks and deals. That one is hit deep into left field. Wesley Jordan goes back, and it is gone. Grand slam for Jake English. And the Jayhawks burst the door open.
Yeah, not as crushed as the one last night, but this time it's a bit more meaningful with 3 guys on the base paths. A grand slam for Michael Brooks, for Jake English, his 12th home run of the season, saw his 11th last night, continues on that team lead, and now they're up big here in the top of the second inning. A 5-0 score. They got 3 hits on the board, completely reversed from last night's game, Jeffrey.
And now Michael Brooks trying to follow up that grand slam, as the first pitch he faces will be up and inside for ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch. That one is bounced way in front of the plate. He'll get past the catcher, Cortland Castle. And Castle will make his way to the mound, talk with his pitcher. For Colin McKinney, you got to be really frustrated with this. You had 2 outs. You had a couple of 2-strike counts. You just couldn't get the job done, and eventually you pay for it. So Jayhawks put up 4 in this inning, and 5 through 2.
First grand slam in the season for Jake English. 12th home run of the season, as we said, and now Colin McKinney just trying to refocus, and with the bases empty, has a chance to just focus on the batter.
And the 2-0 pitch, that'll be fouled back over that Kansas dugout, down the first base side.
Well, I'll tell you, maybe Mitch Thompson hopes or wished that the rain continued and just poured down this morning.
This one will be fouled back once again down the first base side. Yeah. You know, maybe a little bit of sunshine might do Colin McKinney some good. Obviously, not having his best outing on this overcast day. This one swung on and missed. The ball gets away from Castle. The throw is not in time. Another miscue for the Bears. A drop third strike, and Michael Brooks makes it to first.
First baseman number 25.
Yeah, one that Castle thought he had in his glove. Got away from him. He didn't really know. Had to get notice from his pitcher, Colin McKinney, to point it out where it was. And, yeah, really just no chance to throw that one and relay it to first in time.
And now the first baseman, Ben Hartle. McKinney will throw over to first base, but Cole Posey won't apply a tag. McKinney now at 59 pitches through 1 2/3, as he'll peel to first base again. Still no tag. Has yet to pitch to Hartle in this plate appearance. And his first pitch to Hartle. Will be an 84-mile-an-hour breaking ball. That'll get in for strike one. Hartle in the first had that walk, and on ball four was a wild pitch that would score John Nett. And the 0-1 pitch. That one's in there for strike two. McKinney had in the count 0-2, 2 outs. With the runner Michael Brooks on first. As this one is hit high down the line in right field, but it will go foul. Over the little grassy hill in foul territory. And the 0-2 pitch from McKinney. Swung on, that'll be popped up in the foul territory. Hunter Deplansky making his way, but it'll go over the Baylor dugout. Fan catches it on the bounce.
Mitch Thompson made his way over to the bullpen phone in the back of the dugout a few minutes ago, and now we got a lefty warming up in the left field corner for the Bears. But of course, McKinney, you want him to get this final strike and get out of this long second inning.
McKinney goes over to first. Won't be in time. Hartle's stayed alive in this at-bat, fouled the last 3 pitches off. Still 0-2. And the pitch in there for strike 3. Gets Hartle looking. And that'll do it for the top of the second. But the Jayhawks strike for 4 on that Jake English grand slam. And the Bears hoping to chip away at this lead as we come back with the bottom of the second.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
And we are back with the bottom of the second here at Baylor Ballpark. Bears trailing the Kansas Jayhawks 5-0. As the Jayhawks put up 4 on the top of the second with a grand slam by the catcher Jake English. And we got Tyler Childers playing as Daniel Altman will lead off the inning.
Stepping to the plate for the Bears, second baseman number 5, Daniel Altman.
Bears will have their 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up this inning, hoping to start the comeback and start chipping away at this 5-run deficit. Bagley's first pitch to Altman will be a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Daniel Altman last night went 1 for 4, had 2 runs and a walk. As he'll look at that one. That's low, hits off the plate for ball 1. And the 1 pitch swung on, and now will be softly fouled back. Hits the net.
Yeah, it's Texas Country Music Day here at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Last night was 90s night, now Country Music Day.
Yeah, we heard a lot of that while we've been at the ballpark for a while.
Yeah.
as the 1-2 pitch will be fouled back to the netting once again.
You know, it looks like they didn't get rid of all, or they didn't get through all of the the slow romance Texas country music songs.
Yeah.
We thought we had all of that pregame, but geez, they're still playing it.
Yep. And the 1-2 pitch swung on, ripped into left field, and it will drop for a leadoff base hit for Daniel Altman. And that'll be the Bears' first hit and first base runner of the day.
For the Bears, third baseman number 1.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Daniel Altman, a guy who has been streaky this season. That's what Mitch Thompson described him as, but he said that maybe these past few games where he's been a bit quieter, maybe it's time for him to go on another streak. He reached base twice last night, had one hit, and now 1 for 1 today. Good start.
And now up to bat after Daniel Altman, third baseman Hunter Toplansky. And the first pitch to Toplansky will be low and inside for ball 1. Toplansky had a good on-base streak, had a 16-game on-base streak that was snapped back on the 12th against BYU. Went 0 for 2 against UT Arlington on Tuesday, as he'll look at that one. High for ball 2, count goes to 2-0, and then last night goes 1 for 2 with a run with 2 RBIs and 2 walks. And the 2-0 pitch from Vagley. That one will be just outside. Right now, third baseman Michael Brooks in at the second baseman.
Is that not a balk right there? That was I thought he had to throw over. Maybe he wasn't set yet.
And the 3-0 pitch will be low anyways, and Hunter Toplansky makes his way on base.
That was funny. It was like a pump fake. It was like he was about to toe the rubber, and then quickly he looked back at first at Daniel Altman to see if he could maybe catch him in the middle of one of his steps maybe, but nonetheless, as you mentioned, it's going to be a walk anyway. He missed it low, and Hunter Toplansky, a guy who's seen it really well. Kind of struggled with the strikeout ball again last weekend at BYU, but really figured things out once he's gotten back to the ballpark this weekend.
And that's really his forte. Last season had a team-best 25 consecutive games reaching base safely. Getting on base, that's kind of his thing. As the DH, Zach Mazok will look at that first pitch for a strike. Got the high and inside corner. Mazok hitting .326 on the year. And now with runners on first and second, no outs. Swung on and ripped to the shortstop. Make the throw to second, the throw to first. Skips, and it'll be in time for the double play. A 6-4-3 double play. That'll be a quick 2 outs for Vagley.
You know, interesting. Last night we saw pretty much the exact same situation with Zach Mazok up to the plate, and he laid down a really great bunt down the first base line, was able to advance Tyreek Kemp, I believe it was, or excuse me, it was Daniel Altman who was on base. He's now on third. Surprised they didn't go to that play here. Instead, he sends a 97-mile-an-hour ball off the bat towards shortstop, and the Jayhawks are able to turn a nifty double play.
And the first pitch to Posey will be a breaking ball that gets through the front door for strike 1. Cole Posey back at first base. He's been playing a lot of consistent first base over the last month, as he'll swing and miss on this breaking ball that was low and outside. Kind of filling in for what Will Pendergrass was doing for that first month or two of the season. And the 0-2 pitch swung on and missed on the breaking ball. And the Bears strike for none, but they get their first hit and strand Daniel Altman on third. And we'll be back with the top of the third. Bears trailing the Jayhawks 5-0.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
And we are back with the top of the third here on the Baylor Lariat Radio. Bears strike for none. Grant Daniel Altman at third, but he did get the Bears' first hit.
Number 89, RJ Ruiz.
And as the PA announcer said, RJ Ruiz will come in for the Bears after a rough outing for Colin McKinney, giving up 5 runs on 3 hits through 2 innings. RJ Ruiz last time out was on Tuesday against UT Arlington, went 1 1/3, gave up only 1 hit, no runs, did get a strikeout. Kind of a bounce back from his last appearance before that. Back on the 13th against BYU, went 2 innings, gave up, I guess it wasn't too bad now that you look at it. 2 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, an earned run.
Yeah, but he did
3 strikeouts.
That's right. Sorry to cut you off there, Jeffrey, but he did kind of have a bit of a rough patch there where he was giving up runs in each of his 4 appearances during the last few weeks of March and into April. So he kind of ran into some issues there where it seemed like guys were just seeing his pitches well and they were driving him. Wasn't, helped out too much by his field as well on a few of those, particularly in the Houston Christian series. Or excuse me, the midweek game against Houston Christian. But before that, went on a tear with 4 straight scoreless appearances, allowed 1 run, and then his opening appearance, which was an inning and a third on the season against a really solid Tennessee team. So he's a guy who can go up against really high caliber, high-powered offenses, and especially one like this in Kansas.
And the first pitch to Lenny Ashby will be a front door breaking ball for strike 1. Lenny Ashby in the first inning flew out to right field. And the 0-1 pitch will be inside, gets Ashby to work his way off the plate a little bit. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on soft ground ball to the second baseman, Altman. And he'll make the play to first for out number 1.
Shortstop, number 7.
Yeah, weak contact there drawn by RJ Ruiz, rolled on the ground towards second. It was one that was off the end of the bat of Ashby, kind of a low spinner that was just dribbling to the glove of Daniel Altman. Had to wait back on it, an easy play to get the first out. Just 3 pitches in, RJ Ruiz.
And now the shortstop, Collier Cranford, will look at the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Yeah, if you're Ruiz, if you're Mitch Thompson, you want your relief guy to go, at least 2 innings. You want this to be one of the longer relief appearances, as that pitch will get the low and inside edge for strike 2, or strike 1, excuse me. And those quick outs are very vital to that. This one will be fouled right off the end of the bat. Cranford popped up to the second baseman, Altman, back in last inning. This one. Get the out at first.
That's another Baylor Bears strikeout in Vegas.
With a drop, third strike.
Time to make some noise for
And that'll be
Baylor
the
baseball.
second out of the inning.
Yeah, kind of a weird one there. You didn't really understand if the batter Cranford got a piece of it, and maybe it was a foul ball, but then we got the notice from the home plate umpire. He said that's a live ball in play, so nice job by Cortland Castle to quickly scamper in front of home plate and make the throw to first. So 2 quick outs for Ruiz.
And now Ty Wisdom up to bat with 2 outs. As you look at that one for ball 1. Ty Wisdom struck out looking last inning. So you'll look at the 87-mile-an-hour pitch in the zone. Count's tied up at 1, 2 outs. And the pitch swung ripped into right field, and it is just foul by a couple feet. Sigh of relief for R.J. Rouet for sure.
Ty Wisdom, a small sample size this year for the freshman. Just 12 hits, but fashions a .353 batting average and was taken out of the game last night. He was 1 for 2 going into his AB, or at least 0 for 2, and I think he reached on a walk, but not a guy who was taken out because, he's not trusted by Dan Fitzgerald, a guy who was purely replaced for a matchup.
And the 1-2 pitch. Well, that one's low and outside for ball 2.
I think these are two coaches that really like to put their batters in particular places for those matchups, and this is a spot right here where Mitch Thompson has that.
That one will be low. Count goes to 3-2 with 2 outs. RGA kind of losing the count with 2 straight balls. And the payoff pitch. That one will be low for ball 4. Not what you want if you're R.J. Rouet, who's kind of expecting to have one of those longer relief appearances.
Left fielder number 2.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is an opportunity where Rouet can kind of show that he can go deep into games, especially kind of in a hybrid starting role. He's going to be a long reliever today, but can make a case for being a midweek man and maybe even a weekend starter as his Baylor career continues to unfold.
And now Mike Kazuski, the left fielder, will come up to bat. Let's look at that one just below the knees for ball 1. Runner on first, 2 outs. RJ had 2 outs through 7 pitches, and now his pitch count's made its way up to 14. Only 2/3 of an inning. And the 1-0 pitch. And will be outside. 88-mile-an-hour fastball. Now goes 2-0. Mike Kazuski had a single last inning, would make his way all the way around on that Jake English grand slam, as that will be outside again. Count goes to 3-0. R.J. Rouet kind of losing his command. That's his 9th ball to 7 strikes thus far. And 3-0 pitch. Upstairs for ball 4. And that'll be the second straight walk that Rouet has given up after getting a quick first 2 outs of the inning. And now the lineup cards turned over for John Lay, his 3rd plate appearance through 3 innings on the day. And the first pitch to Nat. That'll be a breaking ball that makes its way into the zone for strike 1.
The sky's just continuing to get darker and darker, it seems like, Jeffrey.
Yeah, sometimes it looks like it's getting a little bit lighter, but you'll see dark clouds out on the horizon, but now they're starting to come over the ballpark. As that one will get in for strike 2. Count moves quickly to 0-2, 2 outs. Wind still blowing towards left field. And the 0-2 pitch from Rouet. Swung on chopper. And it gets past the glove of Daniel Altman. 1 run will score. Another one. Mike Kazuski will stop at 3rd. And the Jayhawks extend their lead to 6-0.
The second baseman, number 18, Cody Shojinaga.
Yeah, not sure if that's going to go down as a hit. Looks like it will, but that's just one by Daniel Altman where you got to figure out a way to get your body in front of it. I know he was playing right behind second base, so he tries to round around it, pick it up on his forehand. But that's one that he probably wants to try to at least scoop up. Of course, you have the force play at second if you can, and then not necessarily a guy who is
That one will get in for strike one.
Yeah, I was going to say, a guy who in net, he can get up that first base line really quickly. So for Daniel Altman, he wants to throw the ball onto first quickly, but you got to understand the situation and that there are runners in scoring position there.
This one will be fouled back. Quick 0-2 count. Runner on first, John Nett. 4 stolen bases on the year, hasn't gotten caught stealing once. Mike Kazuski, who's on third, has 3. Also has not been caught stealing. Cody Shojinaga down 0-2. And the pitch. That'll be inside for ball 1. RJ Rouet, after getting strong start to the inning, is kind of falling apart. But now with the chance to limit the damage to just 1 run. With a 1-2 pitch. Swung on ground ball to the shortstop, Tyree Kemp. And he'll make the throw over to second base, and that'll do it. But the Jayhawks strike for their 6th run of the game.
Kansas leading the Bears
on a single.
6-0.
And Bears will come up to bat, trying to chip away now at a 6-run deficit here on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
The Major League.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
And we are back with Baylor baseball here on the Baylor Lariat Radio as the Bears give up another run and trail the Kansas Jayhawks 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. An RBI single by John Nett that kind of skipped over the second baseman Daniel Altman's glove. Made its way into shallow right center. That would score one run. Score Ty Wisdom. Mike Kazuski would round third, but stay at third eventually. And now, vaguely back out on the mound as he'll face 8-9-1 hitters for the Bears.
Tyree Kemp, this is a big at-bat for him. I mean, a guy who has been swinging the bat well as of late. He had 2 3-hit games in the Saturday and Sunday games at BYU, or I should say the Friday-Saturday games. They don't play on Sundays. But Tyree Kemp, a hit in last night's game, too. A guy who's really hard to get out at the plate.
As he'll look at the first pitch for ball 1.
Looks like fans are moving back to underneath the canopies here.
That one will get in for a strike. Maybe the starting to rain once again. That one will be ball 2. Counts 2-1 to the shortstop, Tyree Kemp. And 2-1 pitch. That one's low. Count goes at 3-1 with no outs and nobody on. Ripped into center field. And it'll be a leadoff single for Tyree Kemp, who continues to swing a hot bat. And now following that leadoff single by Tyree Kemp is the catcher, Cortland Castle, in the 9th spot.
Baylor catcher, number 19, Cortland
who's also swinging a very hot bat, had a fantastic day last night, going 3 for 3 with 2 runs, 4 RBIs, and a walk. It'll be a season high in hits, doubles, runs scored, and RBIs as he looks to continue. As this one will be hit high into center field. The center fielder, John Nett, will make his way to his left and will make the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, make it a 15-game on-base streak now for Tyree Kemp with that single. It's just amazing for him to continue to swing a hot bat, but not only that, just to be able to get on base in any way possible and make a difference. Seems like he's a guy who doesn't strike out a lot at the plate. He works a lot of walks and is never an easy out. More on that. 22 walks to just 25 Ks for him, and he's been hot and playing a really good shortstop as well. Got a big lead at first. Let's see if he goes.
And now Apodaca will look at that first pitch for ball 1. Apodaca flew out to right field to start this game back in the first inning. And Apodaca, even though the offense as a whole has been hitting significantly better over the last couple of weeks, he's still been that main guy. Now currently hitting .367. And the 1-0 pitch. So on a hit high into left center. The center fielder, John Nett, will make his way over and will make the catch for the second out of the inning. John Nett busy this inning, making both outs, and now the center fielder, Ty Johnson, will make his way to the plate. And the first pitch to Johnson. That'll be low and inside for ball 1. Ty Johnson grounded out to third base. His first time up in the third inning.
It's really important here for Ty Johnson to put in a good at-bat. Bagley for Kansas, just 35 pitches through these nearly the first 3 frames here.
That one will be a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Count tied up at 1.
And he's a guy who's definitely willing and able to go long into this game if Dan Fitzgerald allows him to. Obviously has reached the 7-inning mark, 6-inning mark quite a few times this year, and looks like he's comfortable out there right now. Just 2 hits on the board for the Bears.
That'll be a breaking ball just high. Count goes to 2-1. Bagley has 21 strikes to 16 balls, so he's thrown quite a few outside the zone so far at this game, but Bears haven't quite capitalized on it. And the pitch swung on, and that one's hit high down the left field line, but that'll go foul into that last row of the metal grandstands. Count's tied up at 2 with 2 outs, with Tyree Kemp as the runner on first base. Tyree Kemp, 50% stolen bases this year, has 2 stolen bases, got caught stealing twice as well. And a 2-2 pitch. That one's outside to Johnson. Fans in their jackets and cold weather clothes. So this one's fouled over the Baylor dugout, down the third base line. Yeah, with the rain, cold front coming through. So as a Houston native, this is definitely the coldest weather I've experienced here in April. Full count, 2 outs. Payoff pitch from Vaguely. That one hits the dirt and it'll be ball 4. But the ball gets away from the catcher, Jake English. And Tyreek Kemp with some heads-up base running will make his way over to third.
And pretty similar to what happened when Kansas got their first runs of the game, when the ball got away from Cortland Castle behind home plate, got back to the backstop, and Kansas was able to take advantage and get a run across. Hopefully Baylor is able to do the same right here with their strongest hitter in the heart of the lineup right here, a guy who leads the team in home runs with 624 driven in and a chance to put a dent in this Kansas lead, potentially cut it right in half, make it 6-3.
He's got runners on the corners with 2 outs. And the first pitch to Wesley Jordan. It'll be a breaking ball. It gets the outside edge for strike 1. The runner on first, Ty Johnson, has 6 stolen bases on the year, only got caught stealing twice. So obviously, stolen base threat there. 2 very fast guys on the base path for the Bears. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed on that breaking ball. Wesley Jordan popped out to the second baseman, Cody Shojinaga, back in the first inning. And he goes down 0-2 quickly. And the pitch. Ground ball up the middle. And the second baseman, Cody Shojinaga, can't come up with the play. And a run will score for the Bears. And we'll see if they call it an error or a hit.
And those two will trade places, too, as they do for the right-handed and left-handed batters. Will Shojinaga and the third baseman, Michael Brooks. So that's interesting. They got guys who switched between second and third. Pretty much every single left-handed and right-handed batter that comes up to the plate. And there, Shojinaga, a guy who's really good in the field, but that's going to go down as a hit for Wesley Jordan. And now the Bears have a run on the board finally.
Ground ball. And the shortstop, Collier Cranford can't make the play either. And the bases are loaded. Throws over to third, but won't be back in time to get Ty Johnson. And that one will go as an error against Cranford.
Yeah, that's one that just eats him up right in between his legs. He thinks about throwing to first before he sees it into his glove. And now a chance for the Bears with 2 outs of their own. And they've got runners on first, second, and third. Bases are juiced. And a guy in Hunter Toplansky who has 26 RBIs on the year. A chance to do damage.
And the first pitch to Toplansky. That'll be fouled back.
Everybody clap your hands.
And with Wesley Jordan, that single improves his on-base streak to 27 games. That's a team high. And wow, 27 games. And it'll be a swung on and miss by Toplansky. Goes down 0-2 quickly.
It's amazing. Just shows you that, while he is a power guy, a guy who can drive it out of the ballpark, he's also a guy who's not, home run or bust. He can put together good at-bats, and he can get on base in any way.
And that one's at the knees for strike 3. Gets Hunter Toplansky looking. And he'll strand bases loaded. But the Bears strike for their first run on a single by Wesley Jordan. And we'll be back with the top of the 4th here on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/roundup baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
It's the top of the fourth here at Baylor Ballpark. And you're listening to Baylor Baseball here on the Baylor Lariat Radio. Bears struck for their first run on an RBI single by Wesley Jordan. That extended his on-base streak to 27 games. And Bears starting to chip away at this lead. As R.J. Rouet will get back on the bump for the Bears in his second inning of work. And he'll face Jake English. That first pitch will be outside. Jake English back in the second inning. Hit a grand slam. That one will be low for ball two. Kind of swung the door open for the Jayhawks. Biggest contributor to their 6-1 lead. And the 2-0 pitch. That one will be outside for ball three. And a 3-0 pitch, that'll be outside. It's a 4-pitch walk to Jake English to lead off this inning.
Third baseman, number 6, Michael Brooks.
And now Michael Brooks will come up to bat with a runner on first and no outs. And the first pitch to Michael Brooks will be inside for ball one. Brooks struck out at a drop third strike, would reach first on a ball that got away from Cortland Castle. And he also reached in the first inning on a 5-4 fielder's choice. And Cortland Castle will make his way to the bump to talk with his pitcher, but quick meeting.
Yeah, R.J. Rouet clearly struggling to find the strike zone here. Already up to 30 pitches, too. After replacing Colin McKinney, pitched last inning, and now he's going to have to figure out a way to throw more strikes here and lower that count.
And that pitch is at the knees. Count's tied up at 1. And the 1-1 pitch will be low and outside for ball two. Michael Brooks, transfer out of UCF. Spent a couple years there. Then before that transferred from Arkansas, where he spent the fall 2020. So that one will be low and inside for ball three. Count goes to 3-1. Baylor bullpen's got some guys stretching, getting ready to warm up. This one is hit deep into left field, down the line, and it is just foul. Oh my goodness.
Wow. They need a taller foul pole.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah, Dan Fitzgerald's going to ask the home plate umpire, just what the angle was, if you can maybe go back and take a look at it. Calling the field is foul. Tough to tell. I mean, when the ball has that much spin on it, it's trailing away towards the left field corner. I mean, it clearly had the distance to get out. I think it could have very easily wrapped around that left field pole. So now the home plate, or I guess the entire umpiring crew, is going to gather to the left of the pitcher's mound, in between the mound and third, and just talk it over, Jeffrey. This is one that I don't know if you can really bring it back just based on the umpire meeting. But, I mean, to me, and I don't know if you saw this from your perspective, it looked like a home run. And from where we're sitting right here, just to the right of the press box, we're outside, so looking straight up that third base line nearly. And so from our angle, I think that likely is gone and in play.
Yeah, I guess with how high the ball was hit, it was hit well over the foul pole and left, so it's really hard to tell. But yeah, as you're saying, you know, with the spin, it's trailing off kind of to that left field corner near foul territory.
But I mean, I think it was enough to hook it around it, though, is kind of what I'm saying. It's only I shouldn't say only 330 down that left field line, but at the 330, he had more than enough to get it. And just a towering drive like that, I think as an umpire, you don't want to make that call, and they're going to go ahead and reverse it. Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen that before in real time. And now Mitch Thompson, he is red in the face quickly, as quick as Mitch Thompson can, out to the third base line, halfway up it. Those guys are going to have to move as the runners are making their way towards home plate. But Mitch Thompson, he is not happy.
And I don't blame him. I mean, in my opinion, I think that ball it's too high to really make a certain call. I don't think you can really be certain about that.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what Mitch Thompson is talking about. He's saying you can't just go back and reverse the call that you made on the field with no review. You can't just be like, oh, well, we made a mistake and now we're going to go back and make up for it because maybe we think it could have been a home run. I think you got to go with the call on the field, and making mistakes is a part of the game. Miscalling balls and strikes, that's all a part of the game too. So I think maybe with this home run call, maybe you're supposed to keep it where it's at just because that's the call on the field. I understand Mitch Thompson's frustration, but also I do believe that that is the right call, whether it was made in real time or whether it was made a few minutes after the mound meeting. Nonetheless, got to be super frustrating. I mean, tear your hair out type of frustrating for a coach.
Yeah, I think definitely what he's complaining about has got to be like the process in which they came up with the call of home run. Because, I mean, you know, the original call on the field was a foul ball, and all it was to overturn it was the umpires talking. I mean, shouldn't that be like, because it was down the left field line, so typically that would be the third base umpire's call, and he called it foul, and without any video review, without looking at any camera angle.
Right, and I mean, the guy down the third base line, he's supposed to be the guy with the best view, so if he thinks it's not a home run, I mean, it's probably not a home run. What good does it do to give you the perspective from the guy at second, the guy at first? How are they really able to tell?
Yeah.
That's just a tough call, a tough one that you're going to have to swallow, and now they're going to have a meeting again. But there's 2 runs on the scoreboard. It's 8-1 now. The Jayhawks lead it. That's going to go down as another home run on the season for Michael Brooks. It'll be his 7th, and now they are going to go to a review. So now I'm confused.
These guys need to get it together. I'm sorry. I don't want to be too critical because I know this is not an easy job that they have, but you need to get it together.
Now well, sorry to cut you off, but now I'm wondering what's the call on the field, because they made the call on the field. It was not a home run, and then they came back and they made the decision that it was a home run. So now I'm wondering, are they going based off the decision that it's a home run, or are they going based off the decision that it's not a home run? Because obviously that impacts everything. And now, I think you can feel a little bit of rain on the back of our necks as it comes through the parking lot at the Baylor Ballpark. We still got a few more innings to make this an official ball game.
Yeah. I don't know, I just don't know what to say with this. I mean,
it's tough.
Because like you were saying, what's the call on the field? You made 2 calls on the field. You made the original call on the field, which was foul ball. You made another one without any review. So what are you going off of?
Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to be a quick review.
Yeah, and I can imagine once they come out and make the final decision after the review, they will get a visit from one of the head coaches anyway. So just a whole big mess.
This is a lose-lose for the umpiring crew for sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, no offense to them, it's not an easy job, but I think when you do something like that where you make 2 different calls on the field without going to an official review, you kind of put it on yourself. And we'll see after a little while, but yeah, I mean, the third base umpire, R.J. Roy, will get some pitches, and now they'll be back out. And it is a home run. It will be confirmed as a home run. Upheld, I guess, as a home run. I don't know what you'd call it. I don't know if you call it overturned, upheld,
Yeah, I'm not
confirmed,
sure.
what. But it will be a home run for Michael Brooks.
Thompson still letting the home plate umpire and the third base umpire hear it from his post on the dugout. There's nobody within 10 feet of him.
And now first baseman Ben Hartle, he'll foul that one down the right field line. A two-run home run from Michael Brooks will extend that Jayhawk lead to 8-1. The Jayhawks have scored a run each of the first 4 innings. Another one fouled back down the right field line. Hartle, 0 for 1 on the day. Had a walk back in the first inning. This pitch will be just outside for ball 1. And the 1-2 pitch swung on. Slow chopper to the shortstop, Tyree Kemp. And he'll make the play at first. And the stretching Cole Posey will make the catch at first for out number 1.
Yeah, that was one by Tyree Kemp that kind of jumped up on him in his midsection, one that he wasn't kind of expecting to take a high hop like that. He kind of had his glove lower to the ground and then had to quickly move it straight up and kind of hitch his elbow straight back forward. A nice job by him to keep a grasp on it.
And swung on and missed on the first pitch to Lenny Ashby.
Had to make a throw on the run, too. Tyree Kemp's been a really solid shortstop. I mean, yesterday had a tough play where he booted one in between his legs.
And swung on and missed another breaking ball. That's pretty impressive because usually when you think of very good defensive shortstops, you usually think of guys that are really tall, like long, but Tyree Kemp, he's only 5'7". So chopper off the glove of Rouet. Kemp will make the throw to first, and it'll be just in time. That'll be a 1-6-3 ground out.
Yeah, well, I think you mentioned he's 5'7", but that just means he can move really well out at short, really agile, and you saw it right there. As a line drive up the middle, had to take a step towards the second base bag, but then quickly had to regather towards the medium depth short, and does so seamlessly. A perfect throw on to first, and now just like that, 2 quick putouts after the 2-run homer.
And the first pitch to Collier Cranford will be in the dirt for ball 1. Yeah, Tyree Kemp has made a couple of highlight plays back in that series against Texas in Austin, made that Jeter-like throw. This one will be popped up into the middle infield. Second baseman Daniel Altman will make the catch as he runs towards the Baylor dugout, and that'll do it. But the Kansas Jayhawks strike for 2 on a controversial home run call. And Bears now got to chip away at a 7-run lead, and we'll be back on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears, are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
And we are back with the bottom of the fourth here at Baylor Ballpark. The Jayhawks strike for 2 more on a home run by Michael Brooks. That was stirred up in some controversy with some mixed signals by the umpires, but eventually called it a home run after review. As the first pitch to Zach Mazak will be swung on and missed for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch will be outside for ball 1. Mazak grounded out to a 6-4-3 double play back in the second inning. As he'll look at that one for ball 2, count goes to 2-1. No outs, nobody on. Middle infielders into the outfield grass. First baseman pretty deep in the infield dirt, as Zach Mazak will foul that one into the netting. Do against lefty, and right now we'll see Shoji Naga make his way to the right of second base, but third baseman Brooks shifted all the way over, kind of right in between first and second, into a couple feet into the outfield. That one's right below the knees of Zach Mazak. So Cranford, the shortstop, playing in his typical position. Shoji Naga in a typical second baseman position. And then Michael Brooks all the way out. As this one's ripped into deep right field. The right fielder, Ty Wisdom, will make his way to the warning track and will catch it on the run for out number 1.
Given a ride by Zach Mazak. His last time up sent a 97-mile-an-hour ball on the ground to short, and now this time rips one to the gap in deep right center. Power alley for Zach Mazak, looking for that second home run of the season. He comes up just short, and there's one gone.
And now up to bat for the Bears, first baseman Cole Posey.
Been a tough series for Posey, a guy who swung the bat really well this past weekend at BYU. Took a step back last night, but another opportunity today.
As he'll swing and miss on that breaking ball low and away. It's kind of like a half-hearted swing. He did go all the way, but didn't really put everything behind it. Cole Posey struck out swinging in the second inning. This one's right past the glove of the shortstop Cranford, and it'll go into center field, and it'll be a one-out single for Cole Posey.
Shortstop for the Bears, number 13.
Yeah, he got the same exact pitch that he did on the first pitch of the at-bat, one that fooled him. He wasn't expecting that 81-mile-an-hour off-speeder from Bagley. So he swung and missed at the first one, like you said, kind of a half-hearted swing, and then he gets the same pitch, but it's a bit more up in the zone, one that he can hit, and just shoots it off the end of the bat and off the tip of the glove of the shortstop Cranford, and Cole Posey has himself his first base knock of the weekend.
And now Tyree Kemp, the shortstop, up to bat with one out and a runner on first. First pitch to Kemp will be low and inside. Kemp got single back in the third inning. Would make his way all the way to third on a wild pitch and then score. And the 1-0 pitch swung on, ripped just foul down the first base line. That single back in the third inning, that would extend Tyree Kemp's hitting streak to 6 games and his on-base streak to 15 games. One of a couple guys on this team, and a good number of guys in this matchup, this series, have some pretty nice streaks. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball just outside. Tyree Kemp will hold off on it. And the count goes to 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch to Kemp. Swung and hit high into deep left field. Going on the wall. And a jumping catch. And did he make it? No, No, he did not. Home run, Tyree Kemp.
That's the Baylor Bears home run.
The left fielder, Mike Kazuski, made a good effort. Almost looked like he had it right there. tried to make a jumping play and rob that home run, but it just goes over his glove. And the Bears cut into the lead.
For the Bears, the catcher, number 19, Cortland Castle.
One that just kept on carrying. The flag in center field is blowing from right to left into the left field corner, and it just kept on going back, and back. And Tyreek Kemp has himself a home run, his first as a Baylor Bear.
As Cortland Castle will swing and miss on the first pitch of the at-bat. And the 0-1 pitch to Castle. Swung, ground ball just past the diving first baseman Ben Hartle into the right field corner, and Cortland Castle still swinging a hot twig as he celebrates on second base with a one-out double.
A great piece of hitting by Cortland Castle, pulls it down the line in right field, past the reach of Ben Hartle, who was hugging line at first. So he just barely squeezes it between him and the chalk, and he has himself a one-out double. That's a great way to follow up the home run. A lot of times you'll see guys put together, not so competitive at-bats after the home run, and those really go unnoticed. But to keep the bats rolling here and send it back to the top of the lineup for Enzo Apodaca, that's huge.
Enzo Apodaca now with Cortland Castle at second and one out. First pitch. Fouls that one back to the netting. Enzo Apodaca 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to center field in the third inning and then flew out to right his first time up in the first. Looking to continue this inning and make substantial progress on the comeback. The 0-1 pitch. Swung and now will be fouled back once again to the netting.
Correction, Tyreek Kemp did have a home run in the series finale at BYU, the 18-17 win, so gets his first at the Baylor Ballpark, second of the season.
And now the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed on the high fastball. Enzo Apodaca goes down on 3 pitches. And now it'll be 2 outs for the center fielder, Ty Johnson.
Yeah, uncharacteristic there from Enzo Apodaca, just his 15th strikeout of the season in over 140 at-bats now, so that's rare. And he's going to go back into the dugout, make his way back into the clubhouse, actually, beyond the dugout. Clearly frustrated as he falls back to 0 for 3 on the day.
And the first pitch to Ty Johnson, swung on and now be fouled high down the third base side. Ty Johnson 0 for 1 on the day. Did get a walk last inning, made his way all the way to third. And the 0-1 pitch, that one's upstairs. Breaking ball kind of got away from the pitcher vaguely. Two outs, runner on second. The 1-1 pitch. It will be a fastball just upstairs at 92 miles an hour. Vaguely now at 68 pitches. Through 3 2/3. Infield shifted slightly to the right against the lefty Johnson. Swung on this one will be popped up in foul territory. Third baseman and the catcher converge, but the catcher Jake English will make the throw for out, or make the catch, for out number 3. But the Bears strike for 2 on the 2-run home run from Tyreek Kemp, his first at Baylor Ballpark, and we'll be back with the top of the 5th. Bears still trail 8-3.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry. we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
We are back with the top of the fifth here at Baylor Ballpark. The Bears strike for two on the two-run home run by Tyree Kemp, his first at Baylor Ballpark. And the Bears trail by 5 runs. It's 8-3, and RJ Rouet will make his way back out to the mound.
Right fielder number 1, Ty Wisdom.
Hoping to finish 3 innings of work, as he'll face the 8-9-1 hitters for the Kansas Jayhawks. Ty Wisdom leading off this inning. And the first pitch to Wisdom will be outside for ball 1. Ty Wisdom, the freshman out of Kansas City, Missouri, is ranked the number 1 second baseman in Missouri. 12th overall player in Missouri. That one will be chopped just about past the first base. Ranked the 109th second baseman in the whole nation as a senior last year in high school at Liberty North. And that was swung on and missed on that breaking ball low. Count goes to 1-2. And the pitch. Swan. This one's hit high near first base. First baseman Cole Posey will call off Daniel Altman, and he'll make the catch for a quick out, number 1.
Left fielder number 2.
Yeah, that's what RJ Rouet is going to need to keep doing. It's something that he's done pretty well he did it well in his first inning. Got 2 quick outs, and then in his second inning of work, gave up the walk, gave up the home run, but then responded with 3 quick outs. So hopefully he's able to kind of find a groove here as he reaches the 50 pitch mark.
As the first pitch to Kazuski, he swings and misses. He was way early on that pitch. 80-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Kazuski 1 for 1 with a single and a walk, as he'll look at that pitch just outside for ball 1. Scored on that single in the second inning on that Jake English grand slam. Would be stopped at third on the walk in the 4th. Check swing. Home plate umpire says he goes. The count goes to 1-2 with 1 out. Wind picking back up this inning. Swan ripped. 1 hopper to the second baseman Altman, and he'll make the throw to first for out number 2.
Center fielder number 29.
And now the Jayhawk lineup will flip back over to the leadoff hitter, center fielder John Nett. But before that, Mitch Thompson will make his way to the mound, and looks like that'll do it for RJ Rouet. And we'll be back, giving the new pitcher some time, and we'll be back with some more information on the call to the bullpen.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com. And click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
And we are back with the top of the fifth. There are 2 outs for the Bears, but there will be a new pitching change. Grant Golem will come in to pitch for R.J. Ruay, who finishes with 2 2/3 innings of work. Golem last time out struggled, went only 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, and giving up a home run in that appearance.
Yeah, the long ball has kind of been an issue for Golem. Hitters are batting .300 against him, so it just seems like what that arm angle has done in the past, where it's been able to get guys swinging over top of pitches and been able to get guys to roll over and fall underneath pitches. Guys have been able to figure it out and drive it a bit more. He's allowed 12 earned runs and nearly 10 innings pitched so far this season, 9 strikeouts to 4 walks. And an opportunity here for him to just settle in, get the 1 out right here against the top of the order, and hopefully take it into another inning of work in the 6th.
And the first pitch to John, that will be a breaking ball that gets the low and outside edge for strike 1. Similar situation for Golem. He's only pitched in 1 Bears win this season. That was back on March 12th against Stephen F. Austin. This pitch will be just low for ball 1. Pretty similar location to that first pitch. So the count's tied up at 1. 2 outs, nobody on. All 4 infielders pretty deep on the infield dirt. As that fastball, his breaking ball will be just at the knees for strike 2. Swung and ripped into center field, but Ty Johnson will run and make the catch for out number 3.
No runs, no hits.
So the Bears get the Jayhawks down 1-2-3 as they'll come up to bat in the bottom of the 5th, and I'll hand it over to my partner Joe Pratt in that inning. We'll be back on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Back from the Baylor Ballpark, bottom of the 5th inning, as Wesley Jordan will dig in and bat from the right side. Thank you for tuning in to Baylor Lariat Radio. I'm Joe Pratt with Jeffrey Cohen from the first base side of the Baylor Ballpark in the stands. Gray skies overhead, and the first pitch from Dominic Vagley is on the way. Ties up Wesley Jordan off the end of his bat, sent towards the camera well, and rattles around in there a few times. Looks like everyone is okay. Hopefully, Lariat TV News reporter Braden Murray's not down there. I don't think he is, though. Next pitch, Jordan straightens this one out, ropes it down the third base line. It's fair. Touches the chalk as it gets into the corner. He rounds first. Throw's being relayed in from the corner, and it's not going to be in time. Wesley Jordan slides into second safely. A leadoff double to kick off this bottom of the fifth inning for the Bears. They trail by 5.
Bears are really utilizing the foul lines. That's another base hit. Just gets past the reach of a diving corner infielder. Obviously, Bears down 5. They need some spark plugs, and Wesley Jordan's your guy.
Yeah, Jordan takes his lead at second. The starting second baseman playing at third right now for the left-handed swinging Daniel Altman is up on the grass. That's Cody Shojinaga. And the first pitch, a bending breaking ball at 77 from Vagley, misses outside 1-0.
Brooks and Shojinaga switching places once again against the lefty Altman.
Big hole in the left side of the infield. They're shifted to the right for the left-handed hitting second baseman. Takes low and in, strike 1. So he goes off speed to the fastball at the knees, both low in the zone from Vagley, not giving anything Altman he can swing too high up in the box. An upright batting stance with the bat perpendicular to the ground, waving over his left shoulder, and coming set is Vagley. Here's the 1-1. Down in the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike. The lights are on here at the ballpark. Softball game was supposed to get underway earlier today, but that one was actually canceled due to rain. They pushed it to tomorrow. So the softball team will play a doubleheader against UCF. 2-1 pitch. Sky high on the infield. It's going to twist out of play, though, on the third base side. And it's 2-2 to Altman, who's 1 for 2 today. Singled to left field his first time up. Now's the first hit of the day for the Bears. It led off the bottom of the second inning, I should say. He was left on third. And now, with a 2-2 count, Vagley working from the stretch. He's got Wesley Jordan on second. Creeps into his secondary lead as the 2-2 is on the way, and cut on and missed at strike 3. Altman goes chasing up and away at the fastball, and he is sent packing for the first time today by way of the K. He had reached in his first 2 plate appearances ahead of that at bat.
Vagley trying to turn the start around. He's had a rough last 2 innings, giving up 2 runs in the fourth and then 1 run in the third. Now starting off with a strikeout, I guess, after giving up that leadoff double.
First pitch to Hunter Toplansky, low and inside, ball 1. Yeah, he's given up at least 1 run in each of his first 9 starts this season, but of course, as mentioned earlier, never has he given up more than 3 earned runs. Next pitch, 1-0, too far outside, 2-0 to Toplansky. Yeah, Vagley was listed as the number 6 impact freshman for the 2024 season in the Big 12. That was by D1 Baseball. And, of course, has really shown out. Entered this game with the second-best ERA in the conference. Next pitch is fouled straight back and over the Baylor dugout on the third base side. 2-1 to Toplansky. He's 0 for 1, struck out his last time up looking, and then walked in the second frame, so 0 for 1. Pretty good series, though, as he was able to reach a couple times in last night's contest. Went 2 for 2 at the plate. 2-1 count with Jordan on second. Here it comes. Cut on and missed. A half-hearted swing by Hunter Toplansky. He kept that back foot planted as he was just trying to get a piece on a pitch that was low and outside. 2-2.
Yeah, since you mentioned that he was the number 6 impact freshman by D1 Baseball, coming out of high school, he was drafted in the 20th round by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Chose to make his way to Kansas.
Clearly some young talent for Vagley as the next pitch misses up and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, it's really impressive to just see the numbers on him and how he's been this season. The ERA is up to 2.82, but he's got 54 strikeouts in about as many innings. And to do that in your freshman campaign, that's really impressive. Next pitch is fouled away. The lights are on, skies are darkening. Unsure if there's any rain in the forecast. Haven't really been checking it. Just been hoping that it's going to hold off for at least long enough for these teams to get a complete game in, or a game that's going to count. As the next pitch is hit high on the infield, taking Shojanaga back into foul ground towards the Baylor dugout and in the dirt. He makes the catch. So that's interesting, Jeffrey. We found out last night that when these two switch, being Michael Brooks, the third baseman, and Cody Shojanaga, the second baseman. Of course, Shojanaga plays third when there's lefties up. So when a play like that happens, it doesn't actually go down as a P5 or an FF5. It goes down as an FF4 at third base. So it's still a P4 technically. But because it's the second baseman, but since he's playing at third, you have to specify, where he was. First pitch to Zach Mazok, missed outside, 1-0. Just makes things a little bit more confusing if you're trying to go back and look at the stat sheet.
Yeah.
1-0. Mazok gets a piece, fouls it straight back. Shojanaga is a guy who plays a really solid infield, no matter where he's at. Had 4 infield assists last night. Of course, he booted one a bit earlier in this game. It didn't go down as an error, though. And a guy who was recruited for his fielding and also his bat, and actually was recruited as a catcher. Next pitch, Mazok swings right over it, and it's 1-2. 86th pitch of the day from Bagley. Shojanaga plays medium depth third. Everybody else is shifted to the right for the left-handed swinging Mazok, who's a bit further up in the box than usual. Here's the 1-2. Barely gets a piece of it, fouls it off the catcher, Jake English. If he was able to hold on, would have been another strikeout on the day for Dominic Bagley.
Yeah, Shojanaga definitely one of the other guys on Kansas that you can see he's got a lot of talent. All right, he was Big 12 Co-Player of the Week, announced on February 19th. Preseason All Big 12, number 17 MLB draft prospect this year in the Big 12 by perfect game.
Mazok with the red-barreled bat wiggling slightly above his left shoulder. Pitcher comes set, 1-2, outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wesley Jordan scampers back to second. He's been there since he led off this frame with a double. And he's also 2 for 3 on the day. Mazok is 0 for 2, grounded into a double play, flew out to deep right center his last time up. Bagley ready, here's the 2-2. Gets a piece of it, shoots it through the left side of the infield. He beats the shift. Jordan rounding around third. He will score easily. It's an RBI single with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th for Zach Mazok.
This is a good piece of hitting. Like you said, he beat the shift, got it right past the shortstop, Cranford, and ball makes its way into left field, and Wesley Jordan scores from second base.
Here's Cole Posey. Cole Posey from the right side. He is 1 for 2 today. First pitch to him. Fastball over the outer edge. Strike 1. One for 2 with a single to short his last time up. Won that 8 up the shortstop and got into center field. 0-1 pitch, and Bagley's ready. Fastball tipped into the glove of English. It's 0-2. So Bagley just threw his 91st pitch. He's thrown 59 strikes to 32 balls, and he's 1 strike away from completing 5 strong innings of work. In an 8-4 ball game, here it comes. The 0-2, just barely outside. Posey watches it go. The entire infield and outfield made a couple steps towards the Kansas dugout. They thought Bagley had strike 3. Infielders playing straight up, other than the first baseman holding Mazok on there. 1-2. Posey reaches out, swings, and misses at strike 3. Tipped it into the glove of Jake English. It is the 4th strikeout of the day for Dominic Bagley, and the Jayhawks will take an 8-4 lead as we go into the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to Baylor Baseball on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Top of the sixth frame, the Jayhawks lead it 8-4 on Baylor Lariat Radio and from the Baylor Ballpark. Pretty solid fan contingent today, despite the game being delayed from 11:30 to 1:30, Jeffrey. Pretty packed house as most people made their way back to the underneath the canopy. When I say packed house, relative to previous games that we've had this year, as the Bears playing really well. First pitch nearly catches Cody Shojanaga, but it looks like what it did hit was his bat. Had to check over at first to the home plate umpire to make sure it did. And so 0-1 the count to Shojanaga, one that nearly catches him up high. Next pitch, Golem deals low and outside.
Yeah, that first pitch was kind of weird. Is he either hit the bat or it might seem like it hit him, and they were kind of appealing to first base umpire if he swung, but it's pretty obvious he swung all the way.
Shojanaga takes low and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. 73 on the gun from Grant Golem, who will throw at a 3/4 sidearm slop. Slightly hunched over, working from the stretch on the first base side of the rubber. He deals. Fastball low and away. 3-1. Shojanaga, a .340 hitter this season, had a .351 average going into this game, which led the team. Next pitch. Hard hit on the ground towards third, but it's towards that camera well and foul. Entered this series 15 of his last 26 at-bats with 6 RBI game in the series finale against Pacific last Sunday. Extended a 9-game on-base streak last night, and he rolls this one to Tyreek Kemp. Waits on it on a few hops, throws on to first, and a nice stretch by Cole Posey up the first base line to receive that for out number 1.
The catcher, number 21, Jake English.
Got to bring up Jake English with 1 gone in the top of the 6th. Grant Golem working in his second inning of work has recorded 2 outs so far. And he'll be facing the red-hot Jake English. Has a home run in this ball game, had 1 last night, and is up to 12 on the season. Takes a fastball down the middle, strike 1. So now up to a 7-game on-base streak for Jake English. The senior catcher out of Kansas takes inside. 1-1. 49 games last year where he had 10 homers, so already 2 above that mark in this season. And plays really well behind the dish as well. Now takes inside again, and it's 2-1. That was a good pitch from Golem. Baylor faithful in the Baylor dugout thought they should have had strike 2. But at 72, it was too far inside, says the home plate umpire, John Bramer. And the 2-1 pitch on the way. Cut on and missed. English back to 2-2. A grand slam back in the second inning. Walked in the first. Struck out in the first, actually, and walked in the 4th. So a walk, home run, and a strikeout today for Jake English. Batting at a .350 clip, the 2-2. Low and away, ball 3. One that just missed from Golem. He's at 9 strikeouts this season and now up above 10 innings pitched. Here's the payoff. cut on a miss, strike three. 72 on the gun. That was low and outside. Jake English fanned at it as he chased into the left-hand batter's box. And there's 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, finishing this inning would be big for Grant Golem. He's had a rough go of it, as we've said throughout the season, but he's kind of picked it up towards the latter half of the season. Obviously, his last time out was kind of rough against the Cardinal Word, but against Cincinnati back on March 28th, did pretty well.
First pitch to Michael Brooks is in there. It falls in on the front door, 0-1.
Against Cincinnati, had one inning of work, 3 strikeouts.
Here's the 0-1 from Golem. Ties him up straight into the netting above the on-deck circle of Kansas on that first base side. Michael Brooks is the batter. He's 1 for 3 today. Hit a 2-run homer his last at-bat. That was in the 4th inning. One that drew a frustrating and heated argument between the umpiring crew and Mitch Thompson, the head coach for Baylor, as the next pitch bounced in the lefty batter's box 1-2. One that curved around the left field pole, one that we thought was a home run in real time, not to the liking of the third base umpire, but they went back, changed that decision with a meeting, and then they went in and reviewed it, and it was confirmed to be a home run. The next pitch misses away, 2-2 to Brooks. That was his 7th homer of the season. Spent a few years at UCF before coming to Kansas, and he looks at strike 3. Grant Golem sprints into the Baylor dugout, a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 6th with a ground out, a strikeout swinging, a strikeout looking, and the Bears trailing 8-4 will look to put the bats together, string some hits together in the bottom of the 6th. Trailing by 4, we go to the bottom of the 6th on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Back from the Baylor Ballpark, bottom of the 6th inning, as Dominic Vagley makes his way back out to the mound. His season long on the season is 6 innings pitched, and he's done that each of the last 5 times he's made a start this season, going back to March 16th at Cincinnati. 6 strong innings there, followed by 6 innings at UCF, and then 6 at BYU, 6 more at against West Virginia in Lawrence, Kansas last weekend, 2 weeks ago, and then against Pacific, 6 innings there, and all but one of those were the Kansas Jayhawks able to come away with a victory. And now he has a chance to complete a 6th inning of work here if he's able to get 3 outs against 8, 9, and 1 in the Baylor order. And this is a part of the lineup that has done damage so far this weekend. Tyreek Kemp digs in from the left side and waits. A pitch that's low and in, 92 on the gun with the fastball. Vaguely throws. It's too far inside, and 1-0 to Kemp. So you got the starting third baseman playing at second, Michael Brooks. Cody Shojanaga far off the line, even with the bag at third. 1-0. Too far outside. Kemp watches it go by. 2 balls, no strikes. Shortstop Cranford playing close to the bag at second, but with his feet in the outfield grass. Ben Hartle deep at first, playing no doubles, close to the line. Everybody else in the outfield shifted a little bit to the right. Next pitch. Kemp watches it all the way through, and it's 3-0. That one missed outside.
Yeah, Tyreek Kemp these last couple weeks has been very impressive at the plate, getting his batting average all the way up to 262.
Next pitch. Get me over fastball, 3-1.
For a good chunk of the early season, he was hitting under 200, which I thought was kind of surprising considering how good of a plate presence he had.
3-1, taken for strike 2. Yeah, he does. A guy who's really difficult to get out.
Yeah, he didn't like that pitch right there. Looked like he was about to make his way over to first base.
Here's the payoff. Fastball hard hit on the ground towards second, right at Michael Brooks, who's up with it throwing for out number 1.
So yeah, if you're scoring that, you got Michael Brooks, who's a third baseman. That would technically be a 5-3, right?
Yeah, it would. 5-3 at second. So 5-3 at 4, and now they're going to make the switch with the right-handed swinging Cortland Castle digging in. So Cody Shojanaga will go back to second, and Michael Brooks back to the hot corner. The flag in center field, as you probably can hear it through our mics, is blowing straight towards us. We saw some gusts on the forecast of up to 22 miles an hour before the game. First pitch swinging, Cortland Castle low and outside on the breaking ball. He can't get a piece. Counts 0-1. That was the 100th pitch thrown by Dominic Vagley on the day. Got the black glove in front of his face. Now he goes into his windup, and the 0-1 is coming. Pretty much right down the middle. Must have been too low, though. It's 1-1. Vagley with the royal blue sleeves going out to either wrist, now into his windup again. 3 breaking balls in a row to Cortland Castle, and he's ahead 1-2. His season high on pitches on the season for Vagley is 112. Did it 2 weeks ago against West Virginia. Here's the 1-2. Cortland takes up and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So second most pitches thrown in an outing so far for Vagley, and if he keeps on going in this inning, if the Bears are able to work some more counts, there's potential that he throws a season long. Next pitch, Castle reaches out, fouls it straight back over our heads.
Yeah, Cortland Castle and Tyree Kemp kind of finishing out this Baylor lineup, and they've been playing really strong so far this series. Tyree Kemp now with 4 hits.
The 2-2 misses high, counts full.
Cortland Castle with that double in the 4th. That's his 4th hit of this series thus far, and we're only halfway through.
The payoff pitch again. Castle is late on it, rolls it towards first. On 3 hops, the first baseman Hartle will take it to the bag himself and tap it for out number 2. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 6th for Dominic Vagley, up to 106 pitches on the outing. And here comes Enzo Apodaca. A tough play at the plate so far today for Enzo. He's 0 for 3, really uncharacteristic. A guy who got his 13th multi-hit contest last night has rebounded today to go 0 for 3. A line out to right field his first time up, flew out to center field and struck out in the 4th. Here's the first pitch. Too far outside, 1-0. So Apodaca down to a .362 average, got 51 hits on the season, 1-0. On the outer edge, 1 ball, 1 strike at 93 from Vagley, the 107th pitch.
Yeah, he's been looking for some production thus far today. He's 0 for 3, 2 flyouts, and then a strikeout in the 4th.
1-1, laced into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. 1 hops into the glove of Ty Wisdom, the right fielder. And Enzo Apodaca has himself a 2-out base knock, extends that hit streak, and moves to 1 for 4 on the day.
Yeah, hit streak now going to 16 games.
Number 23,
We've been saying it all day. This series is full of guys that are extremely talented, and they've been playing extremely well thus far. Kansas came into the series winning 4 straight. Baylor came into the series winning 4 straight. And both offenses have just been electric thus far.
Yeah, that's right. Kansas was coming off a weekend series at West Virginia. They lost all 3 there, but before that, swept BYU. First pitch to Ty Johnson, too far inside. It's dropped by the catcher, English. Throw on to second, not going to be in time. Enzo Apodaca snags 2. Takes advantage of a ball that was failed to be located in the dirt by Jake English. He takes advantage. And now they got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. It'd be really huge to just get that 1 run across in this bottom of the 6th, Jeffrey. Ty Johnson at the plate. Big hole on the left side of the infield as Cranford holds Apodaca on at second. And the next pitch is tipped foul by Ty Johnson on the ground, and it's 1-1. Johnson is 0 for 2. He grounded out to second and popped out in foul territory to the catcher in the 4th inning. He also walked in the 3rd. He was left on 3rd. So still looking for that first hit of the ball game. He had one last night, went 1 for 4. Pair of RBIs as well. That was an RBI triple. 1-1. Taken in the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike. Flag in center field, moving from right to left towards that left field corner now. The lights are on over an overcast and dark, somber day at the Baylor Ballpark. Ty Johnson with the silver bat, waving over his left shoulder. And Vagley's ready with the 2-1. Here it comes. Slide step deal home. Fastball away. 3 balls, 1 strike. The 113th pitch of the day from Dominic Vagley. It ties a season high.
Yeah, you got to think how much longer they're going to let him go. Obviously, he's been struggling a little bit these last couple innings, giving up 4 runs in the last 3 frames. Now he's got a runner on second.
3-1. Down low, Ty Johnson takes ball 4, and he's on his way to first with a 5-pitch walk. Got to be so huge for a coach, though, that you can rely on a guy to go this deep into a ball game, that you can trust to throw over 100 pitches and really save your bullpen.
Yeah, the game that, as of right now, isn't too close. It's a 4-run game. As looks like head coach Dan Fitzgerald will make his way to the mound.
And we'll see if this is going to be the day for Vagley. A mound meeting ahead of Wesley Jordan's at-bat, and it looks like he's going to stay in the game. Vagley, just a couple of words of strategy for the hot-hitting Wesley Jordan, a guy who extended his on-base streak above 26 games to 27 his last time up. That's a great nugget that you brought up, Jeffrey. He's 2 for 3 today. RBI single back in the 3rd, a double in the 5th, and leads the team with 6 homers. Runners are on 1st and 2nd. Vagley comes set with the glove above his belt. Looks at second now. He deals home. Off speeder, Jordan swings ahead of it. It's 0-1. Apodaca takes his lead at second. Johnson at first. Big hole on the right side of the infield now with the right-handed hitting Wesley Jordan up. 0-1. Now they're breaking ball. He swings through it. 0-2. Low and outside. A great pitch from Vagley on the 116th that he's thrown today.
Makes you think, with his high pitch count, will he use one of these pitches to get him fishing?
0-2. Looks like he tried to, Jeffrey. It missed just low and away, and Jordan didn't take the bait. Digs back in once more, has another chance. Flag in center field, pointed towards the left field foul pole. Vagley looks back at second at Apodaca. Now he moves home. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wesley Jordan goes down on strikes. It's the 6th strikeout of the day for Dominic Vagley, and he throws over 115 pitches in what will be a 6-inning performance. They take an 8-4 lead into the top of the 7th inning due to the Jayhawks. They're up 4 as Grant Golem and the Baylor pitching staff will look to keep the Jayhawks off the scoreboard as we go into the 7th frame on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
8-4 your score from the top of the 7th inning, and from the Baylor Ballpark on Baylor Lariat Radio, Joe Pratt, Jeffrey Cohen with you. Flag in center field continues to rip from right to left. A lot of wind over the ballpark today. Some precipitation, that's a tough one, earlier today, but it's since gone away. First pitch of the inning hits Ben Hartle right on the elbow guard. Perfectly placed. And Grant Golem hits the first batter he sees in this top of the 7th. One pitch, one base runner for the Jayhawks, and that brings up Lenny Ashby. Yeah, so the rain has held up for the entirety of this game. That's pretty surprising, Jeffrey, because the conversation before this game was, hey, even if it starts at the scheduled time, the rain's going to come an hour later anyway. They're probably going to play 2 innings of this ball game. But here we are in the top of the 7th. First pitch to Lenny Ashby. Caught the outer corner. He showed bunt, pulled it back. Still a called strike 1. Golem's ready. 0-1. Down in the dirt. Lenny Ashby watches it all the way through. And the count's 1-1 now. Wasn't showing bunt that time. All black and white barreled bat waving above his left shoulder. Squatted down batting stance from the left side. Way ahead of that 72-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. And Ashby is back to 1-2.
Yeah, as you're saying, question was about the rain, and we haven't gotten rain just yet, but we have gotten plenty of wind and cold weather here.
1-2. Ashby sees it all the way through, but he did go around, says the home plate umpire. He checks his swing barely. Boy, that is likely not a call that you want to make without getting some help from the third base umpire if you're John Bramer behind the plate. Lenny Ashby makes the slow walk back to the Kansas dugout. I'm with him, though. That's a tough one to get rung up on. So with the runner on first, here comes Collier Cranford. He's 0 for 2, 0 for 3, I should say. Couple pop outs and a ground out. Batting from the right side, and Golem will take a look at first. Diving back in safely, Ben Hartle.
Yeah, that third strikeout for Grant Golem, that ties his season high for 3 strikeouts in an appearance.
Here's Collier Cranford, the shortstop today. Takes a fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Spent 3 years at Louisiana State, did Cranford, before coming to Kansas. Spent the 2023 season in Lawrence last year. 50 games with 45 starts, 45 of those at shortstop. Next pitch ties him up, fought off into shallow left field. Jordan giving chase, goes down to a slide, and he makes the catch. What a nice play by Wesley Jordan. Back-to-back games where he steals a base hit from a Jayhawks batter. And now that gives him 2 outs in this top of the 7th inning with Ty Wisdom digging in.
Ty Wisdom.
Yeah, just great play. An all-around great game for Wesley Jordan. Getting it done at the plate, getting it done in the field. Now Ty Wisdom from the left side wearing all gray Kansas pants pulled up just beneath his knees to show off the royal blue socks. A couple of narrow red stripes on those as well. First pitch backs him up off the plate, 1-0. Golem kind of hunched over when he comes set on the mound. Not standing straight up. You can kind of tell that he's going to go down into a sidearm delivery just by the way he positions himself. Next pitch off the end of the bat of Wisdom. Fly ball into normal depth left field, and Wesley Jordan hails it down by his left ear for the 3rd out. No runs, no hits, no errors for Kansas in the top of the 7th inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 8-4, the Jayhawks lead it on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Bottom of the 7th inning from the Baylor Ballpark. Bears trailing 8-4 on Baylor Lariat Radio. The heart of the lineup will be coming up to the plate in this bottom of the 7th. Daniel Altman, the 4-man in the order, followed by Hunter Toplansky and Zach Mazok. We're going to have a new pitcher in the game for Kansas, on for his 14th relief appearance of the season. It's going to be Cooper Moore, a right-handed thrower. So we go from the freshman in Dominic Vagley, and now make it another freshman in this game for Kansas, Cooper Moore, entering the game. 5'11", 175 pounds, out of Bixby, Oklahoma. Attended Bixby High School and is in his first year at Kansas. Recently coming off of his last appearance against Pacific. He pitched 2 strong innings there, gave up 3 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And that's really been his forte this season. 15 strikeouts in total to just 4 walks across 16 innings pitched. He has allowed 18 hits, 9 runs, and 9 of them have been earned. Has allowed 3 homers as well, so it's been the long ball. It's been some runs that get to him at times, but most of that happened earlier on this season, riding a 3-game streak where he has had scoreless performances. His first pitch down the middle to Daniel Altman, too low beneath his knees, 1-0. Altman up to 299 on the season. He's 1 for 3 today. Guy who put together a really solid series last weekend at BYU during the sweep and has continued it into this contest. He fouls it between his legs, back to the backstop, 1-1. Out of Bixby High School, played 4 years there, ranked the #1 catcher in the state of Oklahoma was Cooper Moore. Of course, settled into this rotation and in the bullpen for Kansas as a reliever. 91 on the gun, too far outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Altman. Was ranked the number 37 catcher in the nation out of high school by Pratt Baseball Report. Helped Bixby to 2 straight state championship games. Next pitch, high chopper towards third. Shojanaga charging in the infield grass. Behind the mound, he throws in time by a half a step at first to get Altman. So nice play there on the corner of the infield by, wanted to say Michael Brooks. He's the starting third baseman, who, of course, with the left-handed bat up, Cody Shojanaga makes the shift over to the third, and Michael Brooks is still at second. And so now still with a left-handed bat up in Hunter Toplansky, they'll stay put. So the third baseman, Michael Brooks, playing at second, Shojanaga at third. He's even with the bag and off the line there. Everybody else shifted a bit to the right. Switch hitting, and from the left side is Hunter Toplansky. Here comes the first pitch from Moore. Too far outside, 1-0. Toplansky 0 for 2, a walk in the first inning. Since then, a pop out and a strikeout. Here's the 1-0. In the right-hand batter's box, 2-0. Toplansky, as Jeffrey mentioned earlier, is a guy who gets on base a lot, does so today, and had the longest streak on the team last year in terms of getting on base. It was 26 games in a row. Takes a strike down the middle, 2-1. Of course, Wesley Jordan just completed that today. He made it 27 games in a row where he's reached base. So the record from last year has been broken. Here's Hunter Toplansky facing a 2-1, high and outside. Has been streaky throughout this season, too. Carried a 5-game hit streak into the Incarnate Word Series. Had cut down on his strikeouts into that series. Picked up a few more at BYU. But has really improved upon that mark. 3-1. Tags it foul high over the Baylor dugout on the third base side. Wind continuing to pick up at the Baylor Ballpark. The flag in center field blowing towards third base. A chilly day, much different than what we've had pretty much for the entirety of this week. Big hole up in the middle of the infield. Infielder shifted to the right side. Toplansky batting from the left side, deep in the left-handed batter's box. 3-2 pitch, taken low and inside, nearly catches him down beneath his knees, but he's on his way to first with a full count walk.
Baylor's DH, number 16, Zach Mazon.
That'll bring up Zach Mazok. A runner is on first. It's Hunter Toplansky. Cooper Moore, the pitcher, entered this game with an ERA right around 5. He's at 4.96, just over 16 innings pitched on the season now. And the 11th is upcoming to Mazok, who's 1 for 3. Swings over top of it on one down in the zone, 81 miles an hour from Moore. 0-1 to Mazok, who's 1 for 3, as I just mentioned, got his first hit of the game back in the 5th inning. That was his last time up. His first 2 ABs was 0 for 2 on a double play ball and a fly out to the right field wall. 0-1. Hits him on the right hip. He's on his way to first. Going to have to take a second to make sure with the home plate umpire after what happened last night to Zach Mazok. But this time it's going to go down as a hit by pitch. So runners will be on first and second with 1 out for Cole Posey. So last night, Zach Mazok kind of leans into a pitch maybe, or at least that's what the home plate umpire, Mike Morris, thought at the time. And so he thought he had himself a free pass onto first, being hit by the pitch. It barely grazed his front knee, but the home plate umpire said he leaned into it, and he was actually rung up. So that was another slightly controversial call that likely went overlooked in that game because the Bears went on to win it 14-5, but not the first one that we saw this weekend, clearly. Here's Cole Posey on the right side, takes upstairs above his letters, 1-0. Baylor's still wearing the home whites today. Last night wearing the Friday night whites with Baylor etched across the front, no pinstripes. Today is the pinstriped uniforms, white pants, white tops, with the green BU golden trim around the patch over their heart. And then on the opposite side of the jersey, the number 6 on the front side of it, for Cole Posey at least. He wears the stirrup socks just above the ankles, too. Only guy on this Baylor team who does that. I like wearing those stirrup socks, Jeffrey. Of course, I never wear them myself, but it seems like a pretty cool look.
Yeah, I agree. I like the look. He got the 3/4 pants, just showing a little bit of stirrups. Kind of that old school look.
There was a mound visit for Kansas, the entire infield, and it concludes.
First baseman, number 6, Cole Posey.
Cooper Moore missed with the first pitch. Up high, 1 ball, no strikes to him. He is 1 for 3 today. Struck out swinging in the 2nd inning, singled to shortstop in the 4th, and then struck out again in the 5th. Was 0 for 3 in last night's game, but made a difference, though. Reached on a couple of walks. 1-0. Big swing at one that was down in the zone at 91, 1-1. 8 balls to 6 strikes so far now for Cooper Moore in 14 pitches, so clearly they're just trying to calm him down, trying to hone in on the strike zone. Wearing the number 11, working from the first base side of the rubber in the stretch. 1-1. Posey shoots one on the ground towards second. Shojanaga's up with it, throws to second for 1, relays to first, in time for 2. 4, 6, 3 equals a double play for Kansas in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bears trailing 8-4. We go to the top of the 8th. You're listening to Baylor Baseball on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
top of the 8th inning. Bears trail it by 4. 8-4 is your score, and there hasn't been any runs scored since the bottom of the 5th inning, Jeffrey. These pitching staffs and the bullpens have done a good job of shutting batters down these past few frames. And now as
Right fielder, number 2, Mike.
The wind continues to pick up, if you can't hear it on our microphones. That flag in center field is blowing straight away towards home plate, and the sky is just continuing to darken. Grant Golem throws a first pitch too far outside to Mike Koziewski. 1-0. 31st pitch of the day from Grant Golem. Comes set, working quickly, 1-0. Too far outside. Now, Jeffrey, a Houston native yourself, myself being from Southern California, this is freezing. I'm not hesitant to say. This is very cold. Next pitch. Right down the middle, 2-1. Grant Golem is not even wearing arm sleeves out there. I think he's working really quickly. He's got to be freezing.
Yeah.
Got the glove hanging out in front of his chest as he leans over. Slow tapper in front of the mound. That's going to barely get into foul territory. Little spinner, a swinging bunt from Koziewski. He ran all the way to first. He's going to have to walk back and deal with this 2-2 count on Grant Golem.
Yeah, in April, I'm used to mid-80s, pretty humid, not this.
It's funny just listening to stories, hearing stories from friends who do games, play games in the Midwest or play games in, up north, the Northeast. They'd be laughing at us right now.
Yeah.
Next pitch, twisting fly ball down the third base line. That's going to barely creep out of play. It's actually going to hit on the tarp that the Baylor Bears pulled off the field at around 1 p.m. today. I think it was around noon maybe. And now it looks like the rain that they had the tarp out for in the first place has returned. Starting to come down a little bit, mainly just because of the wind that's picking up. 2-2 pitch, rolled on the ground by Koziewski. 2 hops into the glove of Daniel Altman. Quick flip to first, and an easy 4-3 putout to start off the top of the 8th.
Center fielder, number 29, John Nett.
Now, Jeffrey, you did mention that with some chances of thunderstorms in the forecast, since we've already completed 7 innings of this baseball game, any lightning in the area would draw an automatic end to this baseball game. Next pitch is right down the middle by John Nett, or to John Nett, and he swings through it, 0-1. Flag in center field still gripping, the wind blowing away. 0-1, Golem deals. Low and outside, ball 1. 81 on the gun from Grant Golem. Misses low and away. John Nett is the batter. He's 2 for 3 today. Doubled to right on the first pitch he saw. That was the first pitch of the ball game. Walked his next time up and then singled in the third. Great day at the plate for Nett. Now he shoots this one through the right side of the infield, past Daniel Altman into Enzo Apodaca and right. It's a 1-out base knock for John Nett. He improves to 3 for 4 on the day. That was 101.5 off the bat from Nett.
Yeah, it's his 3rd hit on the day. 4th time on base. He's having himself quite a day after going 1 for 4 last night with a walk.
Here's Cody Shojanaga. Shojanaga 0 for 2 today. He's walked twice, though. Golem will check on the runner at first. John Nett dives back in safely.
Yeah, that's why that you got to also be not very familiar to Shojanaga. It's from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Next pitch, reaches out, swings and misses at a breaking ball that's in the dirt, 0-1. Yeah, you mentioned a Honolulu native. Really highly touted player out of high school, as mentioned earlier, was recruited as a catcher. Made the switch to being an infielder. We've seen him play second. We've seen him play third today. Have to assume if you put him at short, at first, in the outfield, he could still do just as well. Next pitch is hit high into center field. Ty Johnson charging into the shallow alleyway, and he makes the catch on the run for out number 2. John Nett will have to return to first, and there's 2 gone in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, with that catch, Grant Golem's gone 3 innings. That's his season high on the year. He got the one out in the 5th inning, went all the way through the 6th inning, through the 7th inning, and now he's got 2. And
we got alarms.
Yep.
So the alarms, the sirens are sounding over the Baylor Ballpark. That would indicate a weather delay. That would indicate lightning has struck in the area close enough for us to send this one right into a delay. So with 2 outs, Jake English at the plate in the top of the 8th.
We will attempt to update you on the status.
And in the top of the 8th, we're going to get a temporary weather delay.
Game status information will be available on the Baylor Network with the stations broadcasting the game.
So as we mentioned earlier, if there is any sort of lightning in the area, the game will be called. Because these teams have completed 7 innings of work, and now I'm pretty sure that siren only goes off if there is lightning in the area, Jeffrey, because if there's just rain, they're not going to go and blow the horn.
Yeah, no, there's lightning within the area, so yeah, we'll go to a temporary delay, and I believe that at some point pretty soon they will call this game. But yeah, the fans here at Baylor Ballpark making their way out of the ballpark. Tarps are coming out. All around, not very good conditions for a game of baseball. This is the kind of weather that people would say this is football weather, but so is every weather. Every weather is football weather, and not every kind of weather is baseball weather. That's right. What we got today.
That's right. Well, it looked like it was going to be a great weekend for baseball weather. Standing here for the media availability on Thursday, I mean, I think it was 88 degrees. The humidity was off the charts. It felt like a summer day. It maybe not for Central Texas, but for the rest of the United States, high 80s. But yeah, now that everyone's going to make their way out to the field, Mitch Thompson even is in there with his gray pullover windbreaker on, and the bullpen, Cole Posey's got a hand in on the tarp. Everybody is walking it over the infield right now as they make their way onto the left side of the infield. Now third base and second base completely covered by the white tarp, and they'll be pulling that one over it. And it is a temporary weather delay. We don't know how long we'll be here. We'll try to give you some updates as we learn more. But as it stands right now, an 8-4 game, Kansas leads it. They scored a run in the first, 4 runs in the top of the second, 1 in the top of the third, and 2 in the fourth. Since then, 3 scoreless frames thrown by Baylor pitching, and they were 1 out away from making that 4 scoreless frames. So it's been a great second half of the game for Baylor pitching, Jeffrey. And the bats they've gotten going, they just haven't gotten going the way that they were able to in last night's game, as the entire tarp now covers the infield.
Yeah, I mean, I think you give a lot of credit to Grant Golem, a guy who's kind of struggled this year. He's had a great outing, his longest outing of the season. And yeah, the bats, they just haven't quite put it together. They've stranded a couple guys on. They have 3 more hits than what Kansas has, but they haven't been able to drive as many in, as they still trail 8-4.
So we'll try to keep you updated. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break from the Baylor Ballpark as fans have made their way to the exits, and the tarp has now completely covered the entirety of this infield. The flag in center field still gripping towards home plate. The lights are on. Dark, dark skies are overhead. And when we return after a quick ad break, we will let you know if this game is going to continue, or we'll let you know if we'll bring you Baylor baseball tomorrow for the season finale, or series finale, I should say, against the Kansas Jayhawks. Stay tuned. Bears trail it 8-4, currently in a temporary weather delay from the Baylor Ballpark. Be back in a few moments, everybody.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Back from the Baylor Ballpark on Baylor Lariat Radio, currently in a weather delay as the sirens went off with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. The Jayhawks didn't have any runners on, but Grant Golem was working smoothly. He is 1 out away from completing another inning of work and completing a season long on the season, so he tied that season long. He got 1 out after relieving the first man out of the pen today for the Bears, R.J. Rouet. Rouet couldn't get the final out of that 5th inning. Grant Golem got it, went into the 6th, pitched 3 outs there, in the 7th as well. And the wind continuing to pick up as we're still looking to give you some weather updates for this game. Of course, seeing some flashes of lightning, though, overhead, and that would likely be an indicator that this one is not going to continue because they already completed 7 innings in this ball game. Of course, Kansas leading 8-4 as mentioned. But we're likely going to be sending everyone home today because the entire ballpark has completely vacated. Teams have made their way into the dugout and back into their dressing rooms. The TV broadcast crew is packed up. Radio broadcast crew for Baylor on ESPN local radio is still active. And so are we on Baylor Lariat Radio as we look over an empty Baylor ballpark with the lights on and very dark skies overhead. This is a lot similar to what we saw at the start of this game when we first arrived at the ballpark today around 10:30 a.m. when the game was originally scheduled for 11:30 a.m. And then that was pushed back to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. We were sitting here kind of putting the predictions on if we play this game at about 10 to 20%. But, I was telling Jeffrey, saying, even when it seems like the game is never going to play, you think you're going to sit here and the game's just going to get called because the radar says that the rain is coming and it's only going to get worse. But then the weather, especially here in Central Texas, unpredictable as always. The rain subsides, the sun slightly peeks out, but we never really got a look at it as it just pretty much got to a light gray in the clouds, but it continued to get darker as we got closer to first pitch and throughout the entirety of this game, and the weather held off for 7 innings in this ball game. We got to the 8th, and some rain continued to tumble down until we got a flash of lightning and the sirens with 2 outs in the top half of that 8th frame. So it's not likely that we're going to be able to continue this ball game. We're going to see you tomorrow on Baylor Lariat Radio, 1 p.m. start time as scheduled. Not too much weather in the forecast, at least it looks like for now. And Baylor looking to win this series. Kansas likely walking away from this one with an 8-4 win, a much-needed conference win for them as they move up to 8-9 in conference. Baylor will fall back to 9-8 with a loss in this game, and they'll have to wait a few more nights before getting above that 500 threshold on the season. Entered this game at 18-18, likely leaving at 18-19 with an opportunity to get back to 500 tomorrow before going back on the road for their midweek game on Tuesday, along with a series this weekend and more Big 12 play that continues to unfold. But before we get more weather updates, let's take a look at that upcoming schedule for the Bears. Taking a look at the next few weeks. From the last few weeks, they've been playing really solid Big 12 play, whether that be on the road, whether that be here at the Baylor Ballpark. And they're going to continue their play on the road after their midweek game this week. They play against Sam Houston at 6:30 on Tuesday. That will be broadcasted on Baylor Lariat Radio starting at 6:20 p.m. Central Time after playing Kansas this weekend. Then they hit the road to a really strong West Virginia team, a team that lost in last night's game against, it was Texas Tech. They lost that game 15-2 to Texas Tech on the road, a Texas Tech team that's below Baylor in the Big 12 standings at 10-9, which is remarkable because Baylor holds that head-to-head with them, taking 2 out of 3 in their home series here against the Red Raiders a few weeks ago. And so after the West Virginia series, a really strong West Virginia team, as mentioned, who's 11-5 on the season and playing Texas Tech this weekend. They'll be coming off of a tough weekend series. But so will Baylor, playing against Kansas, Sam Houston during the week. They'll play UT Arlington, returning to the Baylor Ballpark after West Virginia. That'll be on April 30th, followed by a big weekend series against TCU. The rivals making their way down on May 3rd for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday contest, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, before taking on Tarleton in a midweek matchup. And then they'll hit the road again at Oklahoma in the middle of May as school is rounding out here at Baylor. But still a lot of baseball left to be played after school is over for the Bears. They'll take on TCU on the road for a singular midweek game up in Fort Worth, and then they'll return home to play UCF starting on May 16th. That'll finish up the season for the Bears ahead of the Big 12 tournament, which will be played up in Arlington, Texas, a tournament that the Bears hope to punch their ticket to this season after being left out, the only team in the conference left out of the conference tournament last year. And so they're going to be looking to do that this season. Of course, sitting in a pretty good place right now at a tie for 4th in the Big 12. Of course, depending on how that Texas series goes today. Texas taking on TCU. They lost last night 5-0. The Horned Frogs getting their 8th Big 12 win of the season and getting some traction back in Big 12 play where they have really struggled this season. But as rain continues to fall down at the Baylor Ballpark, we're going to send you away with a few words before Sunday. The Bears are going to lose this one 8-4 after a start from Colin McKinney, and he was struggling early on in that game as the Kansas Bats, after being shut down in the early goings of yesterday's contest. They got the Bats going later on in the game, though, and then they clearly carried that into the Saturday game as well. There's a lot of uncertainty ahead of this matchup. We thought the weather was going to play a big factor going in, as of course it did for the softball game, which was canceled and pushed to a doubleheader tomorrow. The track and field events have been postponed at the Clyde Hart Invitational across the Brazos River, but the baseball game was able to be played today. Unfortunately, though, it's going to come out as a loss for the Bears, 8-4, and we'll catch you tomorrow on Baylor Lariat Radio, a Sunday matinee between Kansas and Baylor on Baylor Lariat Radio. We appreciate you for joining us today for a sun-soaked baseball game between Baylor and Kansas. Kansas takes it 8-4.